What's up everybody, it's Critical. I've finally found the saddest Twitch channel in existence. It's called Serious Gaming. Contrary to what the name will have you believe, there is no serious gaming to be found on this channel, just serious marriage problems. There's tons of clips of these two in their failed marriage. They play games sometimes, but most of the time they just get drunk together and it leads to a very uncomfortable viewing situation. But I'm just going to show one clip today, and you can really see the disgust on the wife's face for her husband. Now, I truly think that they should be banned from Twitch, and that's only because Twitch is so fucking strict with their rules. If you fart a little too loud on stream, you might be banned from Twitch. So why wouldn't Serious Gaming get banned? This is by far the most deplorable channel on there. It's just a man and his wife constantly fighting on stream and doing anything for donations, and it sets a really bad example because their name is Serious Gaming, so some kids will come on here expecting to see some actual gameplay, but instead all they'll see are these two fucking dumpster dildos arguing. I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip now.
You're not gonna make love tonight?
No, I'm exhausted. I'm literally gonna go into bed and fall asleep around my thing. I don't even know if I'm gonna wipe my makeup off my face.
Smooth move. It was a good attempt, a very valiant effort. His wife's just a little too tired tonight, and that very much disappoints this man. He looks like a failed cloning experiment of H3H3 Ethan. Like they tried to make their own Ethan Klein, but instead they ended up with this fucking goober.
Should I masturbate?
No, please don't talk about this on stream. Just let's not do that.
Now, I respect this move. He's trying to compromise. You're too tired for sex, that's okay. Well, how about masturbating me with your pussy? Does that work for you? The way he asks and his facial expressions make him seem like a little fucking kid who's asking his teacher an embarrassing question in class.
But on a Thursday, a Thursday,
no,
you're like, bitch, fuck me,
stop it,
everywhere.
Hey, stop it.
Right.
Now, whether or not on a Thursday she really was like, bitch, fuck me all over everywhere, that's left up to the scientists to debate, the professionals. However, all I can say is, this man has the stupidest nipple piercing and Mickey Mouse tattoo on his titty. And the way he asks for sex is just downright pathetic, and it makes me feel very bad for him and her.
I'll just wait till tomorrow, I guess. Wow. Alright. Thank you, Vic. Alright. See you guys tomorrow when Vic's ready for me.
I appreciate the optimism here with him thinking his wife will be ready for him tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that won't be the case. I don't think she's ever going to be ready for this disgusting human being. But another thing that I'd like to point out here is that this man just looks like some kind of sad puppy dog when it comes to this sex thing. I think he's trying to shame her into having sex with him, make her feel bad. It's just downright uncomfortable to hear, and pitiful to imagine that it's actually happening in real life. This man's a human sidewalk booger, just something you look at and just go, ew, and just feel bad for.
Is Vic ready?
What's wrong with you?
Well, I mean,
You're just shaming me on the stream.
There it is, roll credits and cue Flight of the Bumblebees, that old song. That song doesn't exactly fit in this situation, but it's a good song. Now, this is truly an awful marriage on display. You can look at more clips if you want to, I just didn't want to make a super long video on it. So yeah, that's about it. See ya. I'm about to scare you with one little word. Moderators. When I say Twitch mod or Reddit mod, Discord mod, you immediately get a picture of someone in your head, and it's not a very flattering image, I imagine. You're probably picturing someone that looks like Urgot out of League of Legends. You know, someone with pizza grease dripping down their poop-stained trousers in a dark room. Some sex-obsessed loser who's always just scheming and talking about getting laid. It's become a very negative title. It's mainly just become an insult. You know, you call someone a Twitch mod during an argument like, hey, Buster, stupid face, you look like a Twitch mod. It's like, oh, why I never? What did you say to me? Twitch mod. Put him up then, tough guy. You know, it's just, it's a title that's got a very bad reputation over the last few years. And right now there's a viral clip going around where it's claiming a Twitch mod said these really weird things during a stream moment.
But I met a girl who's a streamer. I went up to her, I hugged her, and I came in my pants. Wow. Hug her.
Man's looking like he's about to come in his pants again just talking about it, reminiscing on the glory days of that hug. So, the title that's going around with this video is that this is a Twitch mod for a famous female streamer. And that's not exactly the truth of this situation. That's a bogus, phony baloney story here, a load of horseradish just used to generate extra clicks and attention on the video. I actually immediately recognized the guy in the video here because I'm like a fucking librarian when it comes to internet degeneracy. I'm like Jarvis in Tony Stark's Iron Man suit, just this damn near omniscient AI, but all I can fixate on is dog shit internet weird stuff. So I recognized him, and he is like a real-world anime character full of mystery and mystique. There is actually an entire pseudo-documentary about him, which I'll talk about a little bit more, but let me show you the rest of the clip before doing a full dive.
I think you need to get laid a little more often, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was she hot though? Was she like super duper duper hot?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's forgivable if she was super duper duper hot.
Yeah.
Now, if she was only super duper hot, this would be unforgivable, but she was super duper duper hot, and I mean, I think we can all understand a little premature ejaculation from hug contact there, obviously. I mean, that's the threshold, that's the rules. So that's the clip that's really popped off, because it's a goofily, awful, embarrassing moment captured, and he is very proud about the ejaculatory experience here from a simple hug. Like, actual busted nut from a hug. I mean, that's something that you couldn't torture that information out of me. Like, you couldn't waterboard me enough to have me admit to ejaculating from a fucking hug. And yet, here's this man at a bar just telling it like it's an old war story or something. And he's got, like, an audience around him that's like, oh, interesting there, brother, what the fuck? Yeah, it's a very weird clip. And people keep pointing and laughing at him, obviously, but they also keep calling him a Twitch mod. And that's just not accurate. Now, full transparency here, there is a possibility that he was at some point someone's Twitch mod, but it's not who they were claiming, and he's not known for being a mod of any popular streamers or any female streamers for that matter, but there is a chance that he does or has modded for someone or some people in the past. That information I don't fully have knowledge on, but I do know a lot more about this guy than most people seem to. Which is surprising because he's actually very well known in the Twitch community. There is a whole documentary about him. Was a 27-year-old virgin at the time of filming this video here, and it's a very open and honest look into his whole life. He became known for his extremely aggressively sexual comments in people's stream chats, female streamers' stream chats, as well as his tweets, where they're all just sexually charged. A lot of them are about pegging and just how often he's nutting, making his cum face, his orgasm face. Like, it's all very sexually charged stuff. So he got a reputation for being, like, creepy for that. And what's very interesting is that he actually opens this interview with the channel Built Differently with the exact same speech, the exact same proud monologue that he just gave in this viral clip that came out 2 days ago.
Well, there was one time when I met ST Peach. She gave me a hug. I met her the first time, and I ended up jizzing my pants. I ended up leaving the convention, going back to my hotel room, changing my underwear and my pants, and then going back to the convention.
It's got sad music playing like Mr. Krabs on the world's smallest violin, but he seems very proud of this. He's now told this story twice. This feels like it must have been the most exciting moment of his entire being. Like, the entire 27 years he's spent on this planet all led up to that moment of filled trousers from the hug. So, like, he's just very upfront with everything about himself, and he is a virgin, or was a virgin when this was filmed, which I imagine most of you are saying, like, yeah, that sounds about right, that's par for the course being a moderator. But his story, like his X-Men origin story, is probably a little different than what you're expecting. He is a virgin by choice. He had a girlfriend, he says it'd been about 10 years, and the reason they broke up is because he didn't want to fuck her without a condom, and she was insistent on him clapping her cheeks raw. I mean, of course, you have to take all this with a grain of salt. There's a possibility he's just making up erotica fanfic here. It could not be real. But he is telling this story about his previous girlfriend, and now it's been 10 years, and he doesn't masturbate, and he doesn't watch porn. All he does now is have wet dreams and make sexually charged tweets and shit all the time. He also then told a story about how he went up to some girl's hotel room during a convention, and she got naked, and then he said, "Nope, I'm out of here, not doing that." He is saving himself for the right girl. So he is a virgin by choice until he meets a fucking angel, which is totally fine. You know, he shouldn't feel pressured into having sex if he doesn't want to. But then on the flip side of that coin, why is he always talking about sex? Like, that is his whole brand, is always talking about sex. He has built a reputation on Twitter for, like, replying to female streamers' tweets with, like, pictures of himself and then making conversational sexual topics out of it. It's very weird. So if he is choosing not to have sex, why does he just always talk about it? And then in the same interview, the interview is fascinating, by the way. In that same interview, he says that there's really no streamer that he'd even want to date. Yet he is always, like, horny posting in their chats and on Twitter. It's so interesting.
I think one other time, this was like the third TwitchCon, but this was like at a party when I was drunk. Yeah. There was a bunch of girls dancing up on me, and then I just like, yeah.
That's badass.
Dallas.
He's also just constantly dumping yogurt into his pants anytime there's physical contact with a woman, it seems. He tells a couple instances here where he once again blows his load in his pants. Like, this is the beginning of the beginning of the interview here. So he was just, like, proud of it, it seems.
Like 3 times out of the week, I usually wake up and it's like a puddle. If I did, I would feel out of place. You know what I mean? It's not.
Oh,
me.
dude, I just forgot that you come on this bed. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sitting on it. Alright, yeah,
Now, since he doesn't masturbate, allegedly, it sounds like his body is rebelling against him, so he says about 3 times a week he wakes up in puddles of cum. That's a terrible way of starting your day. Waking up in a puddle of cum, just splish-splashing in cum every time you wake up, that sounds fucking terrible. And what I want to talk about briefly here is the way his room is decorated. You can see all of the Twitch merchandise, Twitch everything, and then a Twitch streamer's photo on the shelf behind his bed. So he very clearly lives and breathes the Twitch ecosystem, and I legitimately do find that very sad. I don't think anyone should make a hobby their whole personality, no matter what it is. Whether you're a big fan of Twitch streamers or anything like that, it should never become your whole personality, where everything you do kind of revolves around it, and that's the impression I kind of get from him. Where he spends so much time in all of these streamers' chats, and a lot of what he says is sexually charged, and it translates into the real world where he has all of this Twitch stuff everywhere, including like a picture of a streamer that he really, really likes. It almost makes it seem like something out of Hey Arnold with Helga and like the, you know, the monument she builds for Arnold. It's just, it's an obsession, and that's not good.
Fear because I ejaculate so much in my sleep that the first girl I ever have sex with, I'm gonna end up getting her pregnant. I also know that because like I got tested for my sperm, and it's like I got like those double-headed. My sperm count is up there.
The potent god seed, I suppose, talking about like double-headed sperm. Man's got fucking chimera sperm, I guess. Wild stuff. Like I said, it's a very fascinating interview. They eventually take him to a strip club. It's all very wacky. But yeah, I guess the only thing I really wanted to focus on is that the story is wrong around that clip. He's not a Twitch mod. He's something much more than that. He's been well known in the community for a long time now. And still, of course, a very weird clip. In fact, a series of very weird clips from him, and very weird tweets and Twitch chat messages over the years. But yeah, I just want to talk about this a little bit, and that's about it. So yeah. Why do good girls like bad guys? Why do Twitch streamers like to take a shit and ruin their entire career in an instant? I don't have the answers to these questions. I'm not Socrates. All I know is a Twitch streamer yesterday by the name of Carl burned down his entire career in a matter of seconds. And I know hearing streaming and career in the same sentence is vomit-inducing to some, makes you want to just spit. Gross. You know, I understand, because as far as careers go, streaming's one of the easier ones, also one of the safest from coronavirus. Wouldn't be surprised if the WHO starts recommending everyone stops going outside and just streaming League of Legends. But anyway, I get why some people are a bit repulsed by the idea of streaming being a career, but it's time to get with reality it is. And to a lot of people, it's their entire lives, as it was for Carl. And yesterday, in just one brief split second, it all vanished, like the world's saddest magic trick. Let me show you the clip.
Bitch, say I ain't got money. Say I ain't got money. God damn. What the fuck?
This is what's commonly known as a negligent discharge of a firearm, or as we call it on the internet, a big fucking oopsie. Carl just executed a tub of G Fuel live on stream. I get not liking some of the flavors, but to just put it down like the fucking Punisher here is pretty hardcore. You're also probably wondering why he has his grandmother's slipper on his desk. It's because he was doing shoeies, so he was a bit drunk at the time. For anyone that doesn't know what a shoey is, you're too young to be around these parts, but I'll tell you anyway. It's when you pour the alcohol in a shoe and you drink it. It's pretty easy to comprehend, and it's pretty disgusting. It tastes like you're drinking beer out of a septic tank. It'd be better just to drink the beer out of your car's exhaust, at least then it wouldn't taste as fucking gross. But anyway, he was a bit inebriated, and he had his gun on standby just in case some rogue gamer assassins came to steal his V-Bucks, and unfortunately, the man prematurely ejaculated here and did a bit of a desk pop. It just absolutely blasted around through both his tub of G Fuel and a monitor, and luckily no one was hurt. It didn't go through the next room and take out anyone or anything like that, which is lucky, and he didn't kill himself with it, which is also lucky. So it definitely could have been a lot worse, but I do think this is a really good advertisement for whatever fucking microphone he's using, because that shit didn't even clip. It wasn't ear rapey, it was totally normalized. This man just blasted a gun in a very closed environment, and I could barely even hear it. It was barely even louder than his voice. That's shocking. Sometimes when I'm streaming at twitch.tv/moistcritical, I'll casually burp and it sounds like 3 frag grenades going off into the ears of anyone with headphones on. So I don't know what he's using, but this has actually convinced me that I probably need to pick that shit up. Another thing I'd like to point out is I think this actually serves as a really interesting case study into the mind of a Twitch streamer/YouTuber, because after this mistake he immediately gets into YouTube thumbnail position with the classic shock-faced Ali A style, some of these, and then bubble text over it, "This happened? How?" And then the circle with the arrow pointing at it, at the gun while it's shooting, fucking blasting his coffee can and G Fuel shit. So, I think that's really impressive, that speed, to go from, just ruin my career, to, well, let's profit off that. Right into the thumbnail. So, hats off to him for that quick turnaround time, but goddamn, it actually did cost him everything. I'm not exaggerating. He got banned on Twitch, as you'd expect, for, shooting a goddamn gun on it, and you can't even think about titties or ass on Twitch without getting banned, and this guy just fired a fucking gun live on stream, putting down a tub of G Fuel, which is a sin in and of itself. You knew he was getting banned there. He speed ran that. But he also got dropped from his professional gaming organization, SOAR. SOAR dropped him in a matter of hours. It was as if he shot that gun, and it traveled through the wall and hit the CEO. Their response time to that was crazy. They dropped him like a fucking potato immediately. Potato sacked the poor guy. Now, in response to all this, he accepted all responsibility, made an apology video on Twitter, which I have nothing against. It seemed like he understood the repercussions, and he believed he deserved them, and he's going to try to work on his firearm usage, I suppose. I don't know. Pretty much everything you could do wrong with a firearm, he did wrong. He did everything shy of pointing the gun at his own face to check if there was a bullet in it, so he really probably should get some tutoring there. Check out a YouTuber Reddit professional, perhaps, to give him some advice. But really, his apology video is pretty sound. I don't want to put the tinfoil condom on or anything, but how many of us think this could have been premeditated for publicity, huh? I mean, I kind of see it in his eyes. Like, why would he have his gun on his desk, right? Like, I just saw John Wick. I'm going to let some lead fly tonight, get some people pretty energized. But then, damn, blasted my own G Fuel can. It's possible. Unlikely, but I've seen a little speculation. I've also seen a lot of people talking about the punishment being too harsh, considering no one was injured. But I think it's a great lesson to everyone out there not to play with firearms while doing shoeies. Yeah, maybe your parents did it and they're okay, but that doesn't mean you'll be as lucky. All in all, I have to say I really am wishing Carl the best moving forward. This was a mistake that cost him greatly. And I hope it's something he can bounce back from, because I do appreciate the way he handled the consequences. He really manned up, took the cock on the chin and said, you know what, I fucked up and I'm going to be better. And I believe he probably will be. So good luck to Carl moving forward, and let this be a very powerful lesson to everyone out there that guns are not a toy to fuck around with, especially not when you've been taking shoeies to the mouth for an hour. That's about it. So yeah. Today, a man named Eric sued Twitch for $25 million because he can't stop masturbating to the female streamers on the platform and blames Twitch for his dick always being rubbed raw. Yes, this is a real lawsuit. It was actually served to Twitch today, and it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever read, and I can't wait to take you through it all. It's all public, so you bet your sweet asshole we're diving in here real hot. I'm about to take you on a journey that not even Tolkien could do. This is an adventure that you're just not ready for, with a protagonist that has a lot more to him than meets the eye. Like all good fairy tales, let's go ahead and start with a little bit of background on our main character. The plaintiff has been a Twitch Prime and Turbo subscriber for years now, whom also suffers from depression, OCD, panic disorder, agoraphobia, and Crohn's disease. And because of these maladies, he heavily relies on the internet for all his entertainment purposes, as many others do during this difficult time. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many people have to stay home for entertainment and are quarantining themselves. Now, let me just say, I don't know if this was written by a real lawyer, because this honestly reads like it was written by him himself. Like, this seems like something I'd fucking read on Reddit. Caps locking, have to stay home for entertainment. You can really feel the bitterness in that statement right there. Now, skipping ahead a little bit, he's always on the computer, constantly using and watching Twitch. Mr. Estevillo suffers from sex addiction due to his obsessive-compulsive disorder that makes him obsessed with sex and compulsions. Twitch has extremely exacerbated his condition by displaying many sexually suggestive women streamers through Twitch's twisted programming and netcode, making it nearly impossible for the plaintiff to use Twitch without being exposed to such sexual suggestive content. Now, I don't know what kind of experience Eric is getting on Twitch, but when I go on there, I'm not getting, like, titties shoved down my throat or anything. I'm not seeing a bunch of streamers, legs over their head, forceps in their vagina, spreading it apart for a big gape or anything, like Eric seems to be describing here. This man's describing Twitch like he's Professor Xavier using Cerebro, and he's jacking into Cerebro, and all he's seeing is a bunch of naked women and vagina and fat asses in front of him, and he can't help but jerk himself off. It's very easy to use Twitch without seeing any kind of sexual content at all. There is no way for the plaintiff to filter streams he'd like to watch based on gender, male or female. Therefore, the plaintiff has to choose a game and/or category to watch, with thumbnails showing these scantily clad women alongside men of being the only streaming channels available to him. He cannot filter out the women on the site. No viewer can. Twitch doesn't have a gender filter. This man is so unwell, he can't so much as see a woman in a thumbnail without masturbating himself to injury and physical pain. Now, he says he doesn't go outside, and that's probably for the best, because if he did, he might encounter a woman, and then what the fuck is he gonna do there? Just beat his meat till it's raw and destroyed? He'd give himself trench foot on his penis because his hand would be so goddamn sweaty, and then suggests a gender filter option, or says, it's a bad thing that you can't filter out women on the site. That's so fucked up. That's like a dude that's starting keto for the first time who has to get rid of all the bread in his house because he might just lose control if he so much as sees some carbs around him. That's this guy with women. Do I even need to explain why having a way to filter out people based on gender is a bad fucking idea? Eric then taps into his personal spank bank folder on his old crusty computer here, releasing all kinds of photos that he's taken of the streamers during their streams, or photos that he's taken from their modeling shoots off the platform. I guess as a way to try and show a judge, hey, look at this, look at all these good looking women doing poses and shit. I have to jerk off to this. You're probably jerking off to this too right now just from me showing you this montage. The plaintiff, who suffers from sexual addiction, has suffered much worse given that Twitch has exacerbated his condition. This is like the 20th time they mention sexual addiction. They talk about it like it's a fucking superpower for Eric here. The plaintiff's username on Twitch is the real Eric Estevillo, and he is following exactly 786 female streamers while following 0 male streamers, with that number continuing to grow as the plaintiff has little control over his addiction. Yeah, honestly, that part's just pretty impressive. 786 female streamers he's following with 0 men. That's a lot of dedication right there. That's a lot of work that you have to put into that. You have to actively avoid seeing any men on the platform and only seeking out women. This guy had to have scrolled to the bottom of every single category just looking for a new woman that he hasn't followed. I'm pretty sure he's followed at least 50% of every female streamer on that platform. So that is nothing shy of perhaps a Guinness World Record. It's hard to say for sure. It's going to have to be verified. And it was around this part in the lawsuit where I started thinking to myself, like, yeah, this is probably fake, it's probably just a joke. So I decided to do a little investigation of my own and dig a bit deeper into this mysterious soldier of semen squirting, Eric Estavillo. This guy is literally exactly like the robots from our new music video Skynut, the cum-powered robots. Eric is powered by cum. He cannot exist without coming in his pants at least 40 times a day while watching Twitch, allegedly, according to his lawsuit. So by googling his name, I eventually was led to this article from 2009 where he was suing World of Warcraft. He was also engaged in 4 other lawsuits at the time with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, and even 11 years ago, he was known as a serial suer with a ton of bullshit lawsuits, but as you can tell from the title, he made us a promise. He said, you know what, gamers, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go down the path of justice and righteousness now. No longer will I dabble in sin with these terrible fucking awful lawsuits. I'm gonna do the right thing. So after this, I'm gonna give all this money to God because that's what God wants. God came to me in a wet dream and said, Eric, I don't like what you're doing, but if you do win these cases, I want that money personally, and I don't want you ever touching Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo again, you hear me? And Eric said yes. But then fast forward 11 years and look what happened. He's sinning again. You know, he needed his fix. He was scratching his neck. He just needed that fix. He needed it. He needed to sue someone else. So now we're here. He's suing Twitch. Also, it's not like he's been quiet in the last 11 years. He sued other companies as well. He sued Epic Games and shit like that. So he's still been active, but let's read this article from 2009 to get some more insight on him as a character. So here we get a little bit more character development from Eric. That WoW lawsuit, that's my final lawsuit, so people know I'm not suing any more companies. In case you missed it, he's currently engaged in 4 separate lawsuits: Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, Activision, Blizzard. 1 lawsuit for each major console market and 1 for the PC, so 4 total. Aside from seeking money, we asked Estavillo what his intentions were behind launching the multiple lawsuits. What I wanted to do was exploit the weaknesses of each console and show that they're not impervious to flaws. I told this to other interviewer and it's true, I actually have no friends. I rely on online gameplay for socialization. So this Sith Lord actually has a very tragic backstory. He admits that he has no friends and the only socialization he gets is through these online games, but he can't help but bite the hand that feeds him by attacking the platforms that are giving him this socialization. It's as though he's more than just a sex addict, he's also a lawsuit addict, and the lawsuits are taking over his life. You know, he only has the friends from online, and yet he's going after the very platforms that's giving him those opportunities to have those friends because he's addicted to lawsuits. It's actually very sad stuff. Now, after reading through the article, I found his YouTube channel where he proudly proclaims that yes, he is the guy who is famous for his terrible lawsuits. And that's when it got even sadder to me. That's when I realized that the reason he's doing these lawsuits truly is just for some attention. He doesn't expect to win any money. He doesn't expect anything in return except for a couple articles written about him and people reaching out to hear from him. This guy apparently has no friends according to the article, and this is really his only outlet for attention and the only way he's able to even have people know his name. He hasn't won any of the lawsuits, obviously. In fact, it hasn't even come close to him winning even a single penny from all of it, so he's doing all of it at a huge loss to him because it's expensive to make shit like this, so he's spending a lot of money just hoping that people will at least know who he is. And I think that's extremely sad. And it doesn't take away from the laughable lawsuit that he has against Twitch, because that's still fucking great. And it's now, knowing this about Eric, I can at least identify that he's just making fun of it. He's just having fun with this lawsuit, making it as crazy as it can be, so people can talk about it and talk about him. And while I still hate the fact that people can just sue people for anything, for any reason, and all kinds of just terrible, awful, garbage fucking lawsuits just get tossed around constantly, it's a plague, I still hate all of that, but I can almost excuse Eric for doing it because it's all he has. It's his whole identity, just being the dumb lawsuit guy against video game companies and shit. It's really sad, but it at least feels self-aware now going back to the lawsuit against Twitch. So now it's time we turn our attention back to the Masturbator's Bible here. Twitch does not limit how many female viewers a customer can follow via their website. And why should they? Like, what the fuck is Twitch gonna do? Hey, excuse me, loser, it looks like you're following 150 female streamers all within the last 2 hours. We're gonna go ahead and put a little block on your account here for about a week where you can't follow more female streamers for at least a week. So stop doing your weird shit, please. Now it continues, but let's just go to the more spicy shit. This is when he starts talking about how the lack of moderation over how many female streamers he can follow and jerk off to has harmed him in the real world. So, A. The plaintiff had purchased a fleshlight previously, which went largely unused, until Twitch. Mr. Estevillo began using this device while he watches female Twitch streamers and often ends up chafing his penis every day with the device, making it extremely painful and constant, which ends up causing redness and mild infections at the tip, since the fleshlight is electrical and also vibrates. Now, you can call Eric a lot of things, but cheap is not one of them. He shelled out the big boy bucks for this kind of Turbo Arcade Edition XL fleshlight here. All the bells and whistles, vibrates. I mean, that's you're getting your money's worth on that. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck in that regard right there. That's a quality fleshlight. The plaintiff, therefore, often has to use Neosporin on his tip to prevent necrosis. Yeah, you know, that probably isn't Twitch's fault that you cannot stop fucking your fleshlight to the point where your penis almost suffers from necrosis. I'm sorry to hit you with the cold water. That's probably not on Twitch. Moving on to the next one. The plaintiff often stays up for hours staring at the breasts of girl streamers, which ends up damaging his retina and making his eyes bloodshot for days. Eye drops do nothing to hide his shame from his parents, and he is often questioned by people he comes in contact with as to why his eyes are so bloodshot and red, which leads to further embarrassment and isolation. Now, this is where it kind of falls apart for me because there's a consistency error here. He states early on that he didn't leave the house. He doesn't go outside except for some very specific tasks where he's not often interacting with people. But in this example here, he's around his parents. He's often questioned by other people, so he is socializing with people outside of the gaming sphere, which goes against everything he was saying before, so it almost seems like this is just some made-up fan fiction at this point. I believe he needed to work on the consistency here, but it is still a good point, I suppose, you know, as far as, like, look how dangerous this is, I can't stop looking at titties. You know, he makes a good point, I suppose, but it does seem pretty fake. And then moving on further to C, the plaintiff once ejaculated on his PC monitor, causing a short circuit and small fire within the electrical system of his gaming rig and causing his apartment to black out temporarily. Yeah, this one, I know for a fact can't be true because I've done that. I've ejaculated on my PC monitor, and you know what didn't happen? A fucking citywide blackout, nothing happened. The monitor didn't go dark or anything, it wasn't ruined. I just wipe it off with a little tissue and I go about my night. Now, unless Eric's cum is just totally different from every other human being's, you know, the pH is totally just fucking absurd. It's changed on a cellular level thanks to the excessive masturbation he experiences to the point where now he's shooting out actual bombs from his penis. I just don't think this is a real story. You know, I don't think Eric's cock is, you know, shooting jizz like Reptile's acid bombs in Mortal Kombat. It's probably not, you know, hitting his computer monitor and blowing that shit up. It's probably just like a little made-up fanfic story here. And now we'll just skip to the last chapter of this beautiful Harry Potter novel, Chapter 7, Request for Relief. Plaintiff respectfully prays for a judgment against defendant for injunctive and immediate cancellation and permanent ban of the female streamers listed above, which is a ton of fucking streamers, by the way. It's pretty much every big female streamer you could even think of, along with any other female or male streamers that violate Twitch's own terms of service in a similar way. Also for the permanent ban of any and all female or male streamers that have not yet been permanently banned for such sexually suggestive content as has been displayed in this lawsuit. 25 million in punitive damages to be split between the plaintiff and the other Twitch Prime Turbo subscribers, with any monies left over to be donated to both COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter charities and funds of the court's choosing. So Eric, you know, wishing you the best of luck in this lawsuit here, but buddy, I don't see it working out for you, but again, that's not Eric's goal. But yeah, I thought this was probably one of the best lawsuits I've ever read. Granted, I haven't read too many, but this one, it's gonna be hard to top this. This is an actual work of art. You know, Eric Estevillo has sued fucking hundreds of companies by this point, I imagine, but this is definitely his magnum opus. This is the best lawsuit he's probably ever cooked up. This one is something special. This is a fucking spicy meatball here. It is a great one. Excellent work with this, Eric. It's not going to pan out, but I think you've accomplished what you wanted to, so congratulations there. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Who is the most influential streamer on Twitch right now? This is an argument that a lot of people like to engage in. It becomes this ferocious debate, and most people usually go to like the top sub channels or the channels with the most viewers, so you'll have people talking about XQC being the face of Twitch, or Kai Cenat, or Jinxie. However, if you ask me, I think the most influential streamer on Twitch right now is Morgpie. She defines the meta on Twitch. She is the primordial soup from which the meta evolves from. It's like that scene in Prometheus where they have the engineer drink that shit and then it basically seeds life on Earth. That is her to the sexual content community on Twitch. And she is so powerful that the Twitch policy team has to constantly be monitoring her at her mercy, basically. She has the Twitch meta wrapped around her finger when it comes to this niche of content. You probably know her name because she was the pioneer that innovated the topless meta, the implied nudity meta, which went hog wild. This was so big that the Twitch policy team actually had to come forward and make a statement and a guidelines update kind of addressing all of these things. She did receive a ban for it, but like Michael Jordan in his prime, you can't stop Morgpie, you can only hope to contain her. She's actually received 6 bans so far, 4 of which came within a month of each other. There's been 2 in December alone. And she's showing no signs of slowing down. It's like Galactus. She's on a rampage right now, looking for new ways to innovate in the sexual content on Twitch. Now, she also, after being unbanned, shortly after being unbanned, engaged in a new emerging meta that also blew up called the censored black bar meta, where streamers would be assumed nude and have black bars over their genitals. And this was another meta for which she participated and helped elevate to new heights. And it got so big that Boogie actually went on stream just completely naked, just stripped down to his bare necessities here, his birthday suit. His explanation for this head-scratching display was that his body self-censors itself. Because his gut hangs down so low, you can't see his wiener or his scrotum or anything like that. His nutsack is fully hidden. So if the black bars on nude streamers are permissible on Twitch, then him being completely naked should be permissible because you can't see anything. He did receive a ban for it, and I believe other streamers that were engaging in this censor bar meta also received a ban for it. But Morgpie has been unbanned again, and she immediately hopped back on the saddle with another wacky idea here. She's like the Jimmy Neutron of sexual content on Twitch, just constantly having these brain blasts for new things to try. And I just have to show you this most recent one because it is just downright comical.
Oh my god. No annoying neighbors.
There is just so much going on here, so many layers to this onion to pick apart. This is like a Rube Goldberg machine of sexual content. I don't even know where to begin. So let's just start with the visuals here. There's so much here in this one frame. Let's focus our attention on the very tiny kiddie pool behind her. The smallest pool that Walmart has ever offered. It's a fucking kiddie pool for ants. It's like 1 foot by 1 foot, and she has like the littlest amount of water in there. Like 2 glasses worth of water in there, basically. But the reason that's there is because Twitch has a policy where you can't be in like a bikini or a bathing suit unless there's a pool in proximity. So that's her way around that, so she can get in the hot tubs category. She then also has a mirror positioned behind her so you can see her ass jiggling on the earthquake machine that she's balancing on. I don't exactly know what that device is, the Ass Jiggler 5000. She's going to town on a shake weight, and then she also has a small piece of paper with her Twitch link there, her username, twitch.tv/Morgpie. That's there because she knows these clips go viral on Twitter, so it's easy marketing and easy advertisements. That way you can immediately see where it comes from.
Reading the signs of my body. I want tonight, no hips don't lie. Not a lumberjack, thank you for the prime.
Consider yourself lucky. We're bearing witness to a once-in-a-generation savant, a genius in the laboratory cooking up a brand new meta right before our eyes. So that's kind of the whole gist of it. Stand on top of the whole body vibrator, shaking the shake weight, and then thanking subs by, you know, getting the thangs thangin'. And that's the idea behind it. This is still brand new, so it hasn't caught fire yet. But we'll see. We'll see if this one catches on the same way the topless and censor bar meta did. But at the end of the day, this really is a Twitch itself problem. They don't crack down on any of this in any meaningful way. They give like a day ban, like a 24-hour, 48-hour, 72-hour ban for this. And that's not like a really severe punishment. She is one of the fastest growing channels on Twitch because of doing these things. So she's not going to stop. Why would she? It really is a classic case of don't hate the player, hate the game. And the game is, they're not even playing the game. Twitch is just so hands off on all this. They seem to roll back that artistic nudity policy almost immediately and then called it quits. Like, it doesn't seem like this kind of content they want there, because they do keep issuing short bans, but they don't take any real stance and they don't make any statements on it. So why would Morgpie or any of the other streamers stop doing it? It makes them a ton of money. It grows all of their socials wildly fast. And again, if Twitch isn't saying anything or doing anything to stop it, then obviously they're not going to stop providing this content to the platform, because it makes them so much money. Now, I do think Morgpie is going to catch another short ban, but I speculate, I theorize that she'll be back with another really wild idea, and I am super curious as to what the next meta she tries to bring forth will look like. I'm anticipating the next one has even more bells and whistles, like there'll be a 6-camera setup or something, right? And one of them's like an endoscopy cam, so you can actually see her vocal folds when she says thank you to the subs or something. Like, I'm just now very curious as to, like, her think tank that is coming up with these ideas, because this one is so wild to me. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, because the Twitch meta when it comes to this kind of content is really going wild over the last month. So I don't know, I found that to be interesting. That's about it. So yeah. One of the largest streamers on the planet just caught a permaban from Twitch. Adin Ross. I'm sure this is a name you've heard of by now. He's absolutely blown up over the last couple years. And last night, he got banned again. This is far from his first rodeo. He's actually a veteran in this field. He's gluttonous when it comes to Twitch bans. He's eaten those puppies like muffins out of the oven. This is his 8th ban, and by far his most severe. As of right now, it seems like this is a permanent ban from the platform, and just like the mystery of why I'm so short, the reason for it is unknown as of this moment. However, a lot of people, including myself, have been speculating as to what the cause could have been. Recently, there's been this unholy floodgate, like a dam that's broken in the mind of Adin Ross's brain, that's led to him making the worst decisions imaginable over the last couple months. So you might not be familiar with Adin Ross Twitch streams, but you've probably heard his name because this goofy goober streamed the Super Bowl on Kick. He just streamed the entire Super Bowl watching it without permission from the NFL. It's not like he had some kind of like back alley handshake deal with Fox or the NFL to rebroadcast it. I'm pretty sure Adin Ross can't even spell the word license, so he didn't have the rights to restream that shit, but he just still fucking went hog wild with it. Now, nothing has come from it yet. I don't know if anything will. As I understand it, in cases like this, the lawsuits take a couple months before they start to actually form. So if they do decide to pursue action, it probably wouldn't have happened now anyway. It'd still be a couple months out. That's if they even decide to. Then there's no telling if they will. But clearly it's a huge no-no to freely rebroadcast without the rights the biggest American broadcast. You can't do that. It's illegal. Now, let's say you haven't heard of that fumble that Adin Ross recently did with the Super Bowl thing. Maybe you've heard of him over the last week or so because he also just freely streamed porn on Kick. While streaming, Adin Ross decided to go to Pornhub, I guess to make a point about how you can do anything on the site, and he just he showed porn to his audience, and keep in mind, a lot of his audience is very young. They're minors, they're actual children. Now, he's not going to face like a felony charge from this that I've seen a lot of people say he might, because in the stream title, I believe he had 18 plus there, which I guess is a legal safety net for him to fall back on. But everyone knows Adin Ross viewers are skewed very, very young. So it's still a very fucking creepy and weird thing to do, especially with that audience and on stream. Now, what makes this really interesting is how hypocritical it is, because Adin Ross has recently come out very hard against porn. He's taken up the Master Shield and he's blocking anything sexual. He's made these very huge statements about how porn will ruin your life and addiction to porn is gonna send you straight to hell and it's gonna make everything in your life miserable. And he's not wrong. Addiction in any form is life-ruining. Porn addiction is a super insidious one that absolutely does ruin lives. But he's taken this stance of porn is the devil. It's the ultimate evil. And then he turns around and watches porn on stream. He just hasn't been making smart choices. It's just been one bad decision after another from him recently. And also, it didn't help that a few clips from his previous stream started going viral on Twitter, and people were calling him racist for those clips. Now, I haven't seen all of them, I've only watched one of them, and to me, it seemed more like a shitty joke that was poorly done, as opposed to evidence of him being a legitimate racist. But I haven't seen all of them, so I don't really know for sure or anything like that. But the only reason I'm even mentioning those clips is because this is another thing people are pointing to as a potential reason for his Twitch ban. But anyway, after his ban on Twitch, he did go live on Kick like an hour or so later in order to talk about the whole situation. And my god, that devolved into complete unhinged lunacy. Holy shit. That went wacko mode off rip. It was brutal. He went from, like, talking about the general situation immediately into trying to bring on actual Nazis. And I don't use that fucking word lightly. I hate that the word Nazi has become so meaningless and watered down. Literally everyone gets called a Nazi now if it's even a slight disagreement on even a trivial opinion. When I say Nazi, I mean an actual neo-Nazi, a self-proclaimed Nazi. Adin Ross wanted to bring on to stream to learn from, I guess, or interview. Super weird idea. He was on some goofy shit. He even asked Trainwrecks if men can get raped, and then made it seem like he doesn't think that's possible, like that whole concept of a man can also be the victim of rape. Like, that was lost on him, like it didn't compute in his mind.
So just keep your eye there. You know what I'm saying? Keep your eye on every
I have a
corner.
question. Can guys get raped?
Yes.
Guys can get raped?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
It works the exact same way. It just, right? Like, we can talk about it later, and you can ask me and we can clarify things. But yes, men can get raped too, yes.
Okay. Thanks, Train.
All right, bro.
Thanks, Train.
It's baffling that that even needed an explanation for him. And the fact that he even got combative about it, like, give me an example, is super concerning. You can hear Train is also surprised and stunned, like, what? Like, you can't be serious. But this is, again, just only another small piece of how off the rails this stream went. So it devolved into absolute wild madness, much to the chagrin of Trainwrecks being one of the owners of Kick. Train was literally in a call with him trying to, like, talk him down from these terrible ideas and literally advising him not to do half the shit that he wanted to because of how bad it made the entire site look and what that opened the site up to and the reputational risk associated with all of it. So it was just a complete disaster from top to bottom, but he did say something that shed light on his ban.
Did they tell you why you got banned, or like not them specifically, but like in the email?
Yo, Blood, thanks for the host, bro. Okay, so yes. I got banned for basically... I actually, I don't know if I should say that publicly. My legal team is advising me not to. But
and don't say it, yeah.
But Train, what I will say is this though. What I got banned for makes no sense because I have it said all I can say is it occurred on it occurred on stream or on VOD. It wasn't occurred like somewhere else. It basically was occurred on my stream or on my VOD. So it makes no sense. Does that make sense?
A little confusing here, but as I understand it, Twitch is claiming that something Adin Ross did happened on their service, whether on stream or on one of the Twitch VODs, and it seems Adin disagrees with that, thinking that whatever they're talking about happened elsewhere. I believe is the situation. It's a little hard to follow since he and his team aren't revealing what exactly the reason is, but it seems they were given a reason, which is more than a lot of people get. Usually with a Twitch ban, they don't ever tell you what the fuck you got banned for, you just have to guess yourself, which is always such a fucking headache. And I also think this highlights a problem with Twitch and the way they handle bans. I don't understand why they don't just publicize the reason themselves. That would make every situation significantly more transparent for everyone, the streamer, the community, literally everyone. Unless it's like an actual legal matter, I don't see why they don't just reveal the violation that the streamer made. But I'm getting a little sidetracked. Adin Ross did get banned on Twitch. They did give him a reason. They haven't revealed it. Him and his team have not revealed what it is yet. I don't know if they will or if they're planning to anytime soon, but they do have a reason, and it seems Adin thinks it's nonsense, and it seems like whatever they're pointing out as the cause, their arguing happened on their platform, while Adin seems to disagree with that. But yeah, that's where this whole situation's at. This happened while I was streaming last night, so I saw most of it unfold in real time. I'll go ahead and play you some clips where I started making other speculative guesses, some potential game theories on what Twitch may have slapped him for. I don't think any of them are good reasons. If any of these are accurate, I don't think they are, but I'll still show you these anyway, just in case one of these does turn out to be one of the actual reasons. I'll look like a fucking genius for getting it right, I suppose. Though again, I don't necessarily think any of these are good reasons. This must have actually just happened, like, during this stream right now. Because there is nothing on Twitter about it. Here, let's check LSF. Usually they're hot on the case of everything. Nothing on LSF. Oh, no, wait, here. It's in the Rising from 10 minutes ago. Yep, Adin Ross just got banned. Did he do anything recently on Twitch? I know he showed the porn on Kick and all that, but did he do anything on Twitch? Oh, true, he did make that statement about moving the Kick. I don't know if that's a violation of Twitch's terms or something. They didn't ban Ninja when he moved to Mixer. He went live on Twitch saying he's live on Kick. Is he live right now on Kick talking about it? Well, immediately got porn. I just wanted to... Jesus, I just wanted to see if he was live, and it's just immediately porn. But yeah, I don't know if that's true with what Chatter said there. If you go to the streamer bans, it says the ban was 12 minutes ago. Yeah, this is fresh. This is right off the press. This shit still got steam coming out of it. Well, it looks like he's gonna have to really jump in with both feet on Kick now since he's no longer got Twitch. Hope you already signed that contract, because if not, oh boy. I hope for Adin's sake he already signed that Kick deal, because otherwise Kick is going to negotiate the fuck out of him to bring it way down. They made him a seriously high offer. It wasn't 150 mil, but they gave him a bag. Like, offered him a bag to move to Kick, but that was under the assumption that he'd have Twitch. Like, they had to get him off of Twitch, because he's already got a huge audience on Twitch. But if that's gone, they no longer need that bag because he has really not many other options. YouTube's not going to pay him to go to YouTube, I doubt. So Kick is going to really negotiate hardball on him, I think. So hopefully he already signed that contract. Otherwise, he just missed out on a lot. God damn. They must have accidentally CC'd Twitch reps on those contract negotiation emails and they wanted to fuck him up. He can still go to Facebook Gaming. True. There's always Facebook Gaming, I guess. No, I don't think they banned him because of his whole Kick stuff. Because, I mean, Train literally owns Kick, or at least a part of Kick, and he still actively streams on Twitch. He's not banned. So I don't think that was their reasoning for it. Something must have happened, or, you know, maybe they actually did take the off-platform porn broadcast into consideration. I really couldn't tell you. Why was his Kick stream bannable on Twitch? I don't know if it was or not. I'm only speculating on potential reasoning. Because I don't think he was live over the last couple days. I'm just taking spitballs, just like everyone else. Is the kill yourself thing bannable? Again, I don't know if Twitch actually enforces the off-platform behavior rules. I think that was just meant as like a scare tactic, like a little boogeyman thing to keep in mind. The whole kill yourself thing was the message he sent to Jake, who reported on him streaming porn on Kick. He sent him a message saying, keep yourself safe, KYS, and then like a little smiley face at the end. I don't think that would have been why Twitch banned him. I have no clue. Twitch chat is a place where common sense and reasoning goes to die. At least for the most part. There is some unhinged chatters out there, and I swear to God, some of them aren't even like real people. They feel like figments of an imagination from your worst nightmare, or like lobotomy victims all spouting some nonsensical garbage that isn't even related to what's happening in the stream. But now I'd like to introduce you to the final boss of unhinged Twitch chatter. This guy. Danny sent me this today, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this, which is surprising, because this is one of those like weirder stories that I feel people would be talking about from Twitch. So this guy made a statement in an unnamed streamer's chat claiming that he was about to go kill some people in a mass shooting, and then he got arrested for it because the chatters warned the FBI, and they actually acted on it. So he said that mass murder was coming soon in the Twitch chat, and then they actually showed up and arrested this man, and he's now about to face some serious repercussions for this. This is also, surprisingly, like the first time I feel the FBI's ever acted on something like this. I can't remember which mass shooter it was, but one of the mass shooters had made a statement similar to this in a YouTube stream, and the FBI was tipped off about it. And they had already like identified that guy as a person of interest, and they still didn't act on it, and he actually did follow through and kill people. What mass shooter was that? Does anyone remember? Was it Nicholas Cruz? It might have been. But yeah, so I think this is a good thing. I am happy to hear that they took action about that. 100%. With everything that's been going on, this is a fat W. Huge L for this fucking loser, but like a big W for law enforcement. I'm glad they finally bothered to take any level of proactive action here, for sure. Now, when he was apprehended and questioned by authorities, he admitted that the account was his and that the comments were stupid, saying that he was in a dark place, kind of similar to like a YouTuber apology video, honestly. He was saying like he was depressed, intoxicated, and he was recently going through a loss in the family, so he made those comments, which isn't a justification at all for what he said. Like, it's sad to hear that he was going through such tough shit, but that doesn't at all excuse these kind of threats. And I do consider these threats now. This isn't just like nonsensical hoopla tossed out there. I no longer view it as it's just a prank, bro. It's just me goofing around, being a little silly, threatening some mass murder. When there have been so many mass shootings, and like I mentioned in the stream, one case just like this where someone made a very similar threat and then followed through on it shortly thereafter. And you see so many times, like almost every time there's a mass shooter, the authorities come out and they're like, yeah, we actually knew that this guy was a threat. We also knew about the things he was saying online. Like, we actually even had him in our custody for a little while. We gave him a fist bump and told him, like, you know, it's all good now. We looked into your eyes, into the windows of your soul, and we decided you probably won't do it. And then he did it, so we were kind of shocked and almost betrayed that he did it. But yeah, we knew, like, all of these details. And then you always, like, are left scratching your head, like, well, why didn't you act on it? Like, maybe get guns away from that person or something. So even if this guy wasn't a legitimate threat, he wasn't some Gotham villain about to poison the water supply or start spouting riddles off to Batman, it's still good, and I view it as a very positive thing that the authorities went to investigate, to confirm whether or not this individual had plans to harm himself or others. I'm glad it wasn't a threat that was taken lightly or falling on deaf ears, just because I don't think there's any reason to take that chance anymore when something just like this happened and did lead to a lot of innocent deaths. So I do think this is a good thing, but I have seen a lot of people making the slippery slope argument about, well, if everyone's chats are being policed and you can be arrested for things you say anonymously in a chat room, that could lead to a lot of other things where people are getting punished for really minor offenses. And I can kind of see where that stance is coming from, that perspective, because, for example, E-Rob, who is a Twitch streamer, nay, that's doing him a disservice. He's more than a streamer, he's a goddamn icon. E-Rob made a joke with one of his viewers in his offline Twitch chat about beating him up at TwitchCon. It was just a threat made in jest between two people that knew each other, and E-Rob got reported for it in the offline chat, and Twitch banned him for a whole month because of that threat, even though it was just a joke. And they didn't fall back on the ban. He spent the entire time in the slammer, in purgatory, unable to stream, all because he made that joke that was taken to the principal's office by the hall monitor, and he was unjustly disciplined for it. So I can see why people would then take this situation where this man was arrested after his threats and blow it up to a bigger scale where if this is more commonplace, who's to say authorities won't start just striking people down for really small things without looking at like the bigger context or even bothering to see if they were joking or whatever. Like I do kind of understand where that's coming from, but I still think at the end of the day, it'd be very dangerous and stupid to ignore threats like this guy was making. Multiple threats about mass murder coming soon, killing 20 people, shit like that. He made himself sound like he was just gonna be fucking piling up corpses in the street. Like that is something that I don't think should be taken lightly and shouldn't be ignored. So I am happy they stepped in for that. So I do hope they continue to take threats like this seriously because it could very well prevent a tragedy. This isn't the only time a mass shooter has advertised their upcoming crimes. And while this guy may not have had any plans to do it, some of the other ones have and have followed through on it, and authorities didn't act until it was too late. Now this does bring me to an extremely important point to mention with this whole subject, and that's the curious case of Josh Palault, whom I've made a video on and who's been on our podcast twice now because his situation was so unique and fascinating and just at times downright diabolical. This shit grabs your nipples and fucking titty twisters them. Like his whole case, his situation and everything is unreal to believe that it actually happened. And it's very similar to what we're talking about right now. Josh, quite a long time ago while playing RuneScape and drinking, made a threat on the game about a school shooting. You know, don't go to school the next day, that kind of thing. And the Jagex, the company behind RuneScape, the developers, got tipped off to what Josh had said, and they forwarded that information to the authorities. So then the authorities scoot in sideways, kick down the door, throw the cuffs on him, and then absolutely steam his fucking ham. He received 6 years in prison. This was not a light sentence by any means. 6 full years, which he served the entire term of, because they determined that they had reason to believe he was like an actual possible threat. And I'm not going to get into like the actual nitty-gritty of the case, but with all the information out there, it feels like it was an extreme case of corruption here that led to him receiving a 6-year punishment. He was a kid who was drinking and saying some stupid, edgy shit online, and it doesn't seem like there was any real evidence to suggest that he was going to go out and hurt people or do anything horrible, that he was just making those shitty, edgy threats. Now, I do think it was right that they stepped in to investigate, just to be sure and just to be safe, but then after they go through the whole song and dance of the investigation, they should have reached the conclusion that this is just an edgy troll. And yes, of course, get slapped with some kind of penalty or charge about making, like, ridiculous threats online. That's completely fine and understandable. But 6 years because they viewed him like a fucking terrorist made no sense. So I do think with a case like what we were talking about today initially, and comparing it to Josh Palalt's case, I do think that there is a level that needs to be had from the authorities where they take these threats seriously, but then they also have to be fair with the investigation, where if they determine it's just some edgy asshole with no real or imminent threat to the people around them, well then charge them for the threats, but don't go the extra mile with this vendetta, this grudge against them where you just want to see them behind bars forever. Now in the case that we're talking about today with the Twitch chatter who made these threats of mass murder, he's currently facing charges of written threats to kill or do bodily harm. Now that seems to fit the crime. That seems like a punishment that fits the crime. That's exactly what he did. They determined he didn't have any firearms, and they seem confident that he was never actually going to carry out these things, thus he's just being charged with the threats of doing these things as opposed to like the potential act of doing them. So I think that overall this whole thing is a good thing from the authorities. It doesn't seem like they're making the same mistake they made with Josh Palalt here, where they try and throw the whole book at him, just get the whole kit and caboodle tossed his way. It seems like they know very much what's happening here. They took it seriously, and they're pursuing charges that I think are appropriate for what they've done. Now, I just wanted to talk about this situation because I thought this was a pretty important one. Again, if this was a very unwell individual who was going to carry out something terrible like this, then this would have absolutely just saved lives. And regardless, I think it is still a good precedent to set where you shouldn't be making these kind of stupid, reckless, dangerous threats online in the first place. Like, I do think this charge that he's facing for it is appropriate, and I just wanted to talk about that. That's about it. See ya. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've already confessed to this sin numerous times now, and I'll do it again in front of you and God. I use Twitter. Actively. I spend a decent chunk of time on Twitter. It's this beautiful cesspool that acts like a portal into the dimension of pure, unhinged lunacy, and I can't look away. It's like a curse that keeps drawing me back in. And you'd think that after spending so much time on Twitter, I'd seen all the stupidest shit the world had to offer from all of the dumbest people in this godforsaken dimension we live in. But you'd be wrong. Somehow there are still videos that shock me with the pure level of absolute insanity that's put on display. You may have heard this story already, or you may not have, but regardless, I'm gonna drag you kicking and screaming into the light and show you an imbecile that's so stupid they're a legitimate danger to the people around them. You remember Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy? Yeah, he was a big fucking idiot, real silly, but he was a harmless moron. The goofy goober I'm about to show you nearly got a woman killed for no reason, and left her with permanent injuries that will haunt her for the rest of her life. A Colorado officer pulled over and arrested a woman on suspicion of road rage, and she put the suspect in the back of her police vehicle. A police vehicle that was parked on fucking train tracks. Something that an actual child, a baby brain, would know not to do. In Mario Kart, no one would even park on the train tracks. Yet, in the real life, a police officer parked their vehicle on train tracks, put the suspect in handcuffs in the back of the car, and then, guess what happened? A fucking train came and obliterated the car. with the suspect inside. It's a miracle she didn't die. Somehow she survived with very serious injuries, but this officer pulled off like a Looney Tunes level assassination plot here. Like, parking your car on train tracks with a suspect inside, that's like something you do in Red Dead Redemption 2 as a way of like torturing someone, like tying them to the tracks or some shit. This honestly feels like an elaborate attempt at murdering the suspect. It's actually fucking wild. I'm gonna show the video now. There's nothing graphic in the video, but it is still disturbing knowing that there's someone inside this vehicle that gets hit by the train. So just a fair warning there.
Is that Hart?
No, that's Tom check. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Officers noticed what was about to occur. A freight train colliding into a Platteville police cruiser parked on train tracks along Highway 85 and County Road 36.
Dispatch 346, did a medical emergent. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
You'll never guess the outcome for the officer that did this. Paid administrative leave. So, nearly kill a woman by having them be hit by a train and then take a little paid vacation. It's crazy how this happens every single time like clockwork. It's a fucking joke. I'm not here to even really talk about that. I want to focus on this situation in particular. How the fuck can you make this kind of mistake? It almost feels like it's not a mistake. It really feels like this officer was just trying to kill this woman in a really creative way. If I'm being honest, I don't know what's scarier. This being a case of an absolute villain, a psychopath just trying to kill this suspect, or it being a case of her being so fucking dumb that she actually thought it was okay to park on train tracks. I really don't know which one's the scarier situation. Because if she's this stupid and somehow a police officer, how many others are this dumb and also police officers? Fucking terrifying. In the video, not only can you hear the train for a good like 8 to 10 seconds, you can hear it coming from miles away, it's a fucking train, but you can also even see the train in the background because of the goddamn lights. It's a fucking train. It's like one of the hardest things in the world to miss. Now, I know I've been singling out the protagonist here, the officer responsible for handcuffing the suspect and putting her in the police cruiser that she parked on the train tracks, but it's not just her. Every officer at the scene is at fault here. How could not a single one of them use their brain for even a fraction of a second and rationalize that this is probably not good? You don't need to be a turbo nerd with perfect scores on your SAT, pass the bar, and solve the Millennium Math Prize problem in order to figure out that something's gone awry if your vehicle is parked on train tracks. It's a dangerous situation. Not one of them stopped for a second and just looked around like, these tracks. What are these peculiar markings? They look man-made. I don't think these are naturally occurring Colorado dirt tracks. What uses tracks? Alright, trains. Oh my god! Like, how are the neurons not firing in this situation? Like, do they just have no survival instincts whatsoever? Obviously they don't care about the suspect. No one really gave a spirited attempt to save their life or anything. But even still, they clearly didn't recognize the danger here, so I'm assuming they also could have just been hit by that train as well, because all of them failed to recognize the situation. This happened in the middle of the night. There is not a single other car around. There's not a single sign of life around. They could have parked those cars in any position for miles around that area and been safe, and somehow they chose the only position that was dangerous, on train tracks in the middle of fucking nowhere here. Like, this isn't a freak accident. This is gross stupidity on a level that is downright dangerous, and it almost cost a woman her life. According to the report, the lady was kicking and screaming and like frantically trying to get their attention to the oncoming train because, obviously, just panicking because she had her eyes open and could obviously recognize the imminent threat. Whereas apparently all of the officers, I believe it was 3 officers in total, somehow all of them went deaf at the same time, as well as got hit by like a flashbang and couldn't see the train somehow and just missed it and let it hit their car with the suspect inside. It's just crazy to me. Like, it is actually wild. But hey, at least they're investigating themselves. Those usually go well and turn up fucking nothing. But in this situation, I truly don't see how they could possibly drum up any kind of explanation that excuses this. Like, this is just so fucking dumb. I can't possibly think of any kind of explanation. Like, you can't even blame the suspect here. Like, Well, while the woman was in custody, her road rage took over again. The demon came out, and she started planting a railroad system underneath our car in order to divert a train onto the path of hitting our cruiser in order to blast herself out and free herself and escape. So, this is her fault. Like, there's nothing and no one to blame except all of the officers at the scene here. They're all so fucking stupid, and I don't know how this investigation could prove anything otherwise. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit because this one got my blood boiling a bit. That's about it. So yeah. This week, one of the biggest streamers in the world, Dr. Disrespect, was suddenly permanently banned from Twitch with no explanation from Twitch as to the cause, which has led the internet on this fucking wild goose chase trying to piece together the puzzle and figure out what got him banned and what it was all about. It's been a massive mystery. It almost feels like Twitch themselves was issuing this mystery, this challenge to the entire internet, making us Scooby-Doo this shit together and come up with the right conclusion, like a game of Clue here, to figure out why was Dr. Disrespect banned? But it wasn't just on Twitch that he was banned. I mean, he just got fucking potato sacked by everyone that even lightly associated with him out of nowhere. All of the companies he worked with started using him like a fleshlight. They just fucked his shit hard. He got erased from Discord. He lost his partnership there. All of the brands he worked with removed all of the promotional material that had his face on it, all out of nowhere from seemingly nothing. And the last couple minutes of his stream seems like something straight out of a goddamn movie. I'll show you the last couple minutes of the last stream he did on Twitch.
I appreciate everyone watching today.
In the backyard, who is going to be looking?
We'll get.
Like you said, we don't really know some of the.
We'll get through this Champions Clip. I know it's a tough.
Because I don't know this one well.
Life's weird right now.
Oh my gosh!
We'll.
It did.
We'll get through this, okay? And
Hey, Christopher.
Dun dun dun! You better not taunt me. How dare you?
Fuck.
You get to try.
Those were the last moments of Dr. Disrespect's Twitch career, at least as of right now. Like I said, it really feels straight out of a movie, like when the characters are trying to piece together a mystery, like one of their friends goes missing and they're trying to figure out what the fuck happened, and then they find like this cursed VHS tape in a coffin, and then they pop that shit in the VCR player, and it's greeted with a, if you're watching this, that I'm already banned. You know, it's just like one of those crazy things where it's like, wow, maybe there is something going on here. And of course, in response to all this, Reddit and Twitter did what they do best, come up with the worst possible theories and speculation on what's going on, especially the armchair psychologists that haven't finished high school yet. They're fucking zooming in on Dr. Disrespect's face, looking for every individual pore to judge how guilty he is and the severity of whatever crime they think he's committed is. It's wild. So we're going to go through some of the theories. I won't be able to hit on all of them, but I'll choose my favorite ones. Now, since this is a developing story, it's important to note that as of right now, June 29th, the story so far is Dr. Disrespect put out a statement. He is, alive. He wasn't, fucking abducted by aliens or anything, or captured by Scientologists or the Illuminati. He is alive, as it so appears. And his wife has made a statement on Instagram thanking the community for their support so far. This is Dr. Disrespect's statement. He thanks the community for their support and says he doesn't know the specific reason as to why Twitch banned them. Seems a little odd to me because I don't think Twitch would just ban their actual top 5 biggest streamer without a single reason given to the streamer. But it is Twitch, so I guess anything's possible. And also, as of yesterday, the majority of the brands that Dr. Disrespect worked with have reinstated their ad campaign with Dr. Disrespect's face all over it. So it seemed like that was pretty ephemeral. They only took him down for like 24 hours after his Twitch ban and then immediately put him back up the next day. So it's just this huge weird mystery where nothing's really adding up or making any sense. And then there's people on Twitter with insider sources saying things like, wow, this is the fucking big one. This is the huge one. Dr. Disrespect himself might just ignite World War III with how big this news is, but I can't share it. Which is, of course, frustrating for everyone that's invested in this like I am. This right here is like the best fucking soap opera I've ever seen, with a cliffhanger that I am just on the edge of my seat, and I can't wait for the fucking season finale of. But I gotta be honest, with all the hype coming around here, it's reaching like fucking Half-Life 3 levels of hype. I'm a little worried that it's gonna be anticlimactic when it is revealed the cause, like something really mundane and uninteresting, like a contract dispute. Oh, Dr. Disrespect was supposed to stream for 160 hours this month, but he only hit 120. This is the big deal. This is a huge deal. I'm just afraid that this is going to go the Game of Thrones Season 8 route and just disappoint everyone and not live up to all this crazy shit people on Twitter are saying it could be about. And even I myself, like a giddy gossiping schoolgirl, have been trying to figure out what's going on by asking people that I think would probably know, and I'm just treating it like a game of Guess Who. Well, does this involve a penis? No? Put it down. Unfortunately, I don't know anything on the inside either, so I'm waiting for the season premiere like everybody else, and I'm excited to figure out what the fuck is going on with all this. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the big conspiracy theories and the most popular explanations for what's going on. The one that I see being the biggest one at the moment is that Doc had some kind of dispute with Twitch because he's going to a new streaming platform owned by Spotify. This originated from a 4chan post. So take it with a grain of salt, and it's immediately wrong by saying Spotify under Google when Spotify isn't owned by Google. That was an April Fool's joke, so I'm pretty sure this whole thing is a meme in the first place. But there's so many people that are unironically believing this screenshot that the whole deal is Dr. Disrespect was breaching his new Twitch contract by looking at other options and places to stream. I'm gonna go ahead and be brave here and put my titties on the line. That's 100% not it. There's not a single fucking chance Dr. Disrespect, who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Twitch, is looking at another streaming platform like Brime. Brime is not, it's not even a fucking website yet. It's literally an idea. This is like going into Shark Tank pitching like, hey, I want to make another Google. I'm looking at Google 2 here. Who wants to invest? Brime doesn't even fucking exist, and yet everyone thinks that's what it's about. For some reason, they think that Dr. Disrespect breached his contract with Twitch, which was millions of dollars, to go work for free on another platform, when Mixer just died buying streamers for millions of dollars. The other platforms don't have that kind of money. Mixer was backed by Microsoft. These other platforms can't buy Doc, Shroud, and Ninja. That's not fucking happening. There's no way. There's no chance that he would breach a multi-million-dollar contract on his native platform where he is the biggest to go work on a platform that genuinely doesn't even exist as of this moment. But huge kudos to the marketing team at Brime, and I don't think there's a team, I think it's literally only 3 people, but great work to the 3 people at Brime for capitalizing off this confusion. They followed Dr. Disrespect immediately and then did the same for Shroud and Ninja to make it seem like they were going to Brime, and their fucking Twitter has exploded. They're up 80k followers in like 12 hours, so it really worked wonderfully for them as this startup streaming company. Now this next one I find very interesting because I love conspiracies so much. Now Dr. Disrespect started to get kind of big into pseudoscience over the last month and even became a meme because of this clip right here.
Anyways, I bought a whole bunch of shungite rocks. Do you know what shungite is? It's a 2 billion year old like rock stone that protects against frequencies and unwanted frequencies that may be traveling in the air. That's my story. I bought a whole bunch of stuff, put them around the La Casa, little pyramids, stuff like that.
Yeah, so undoubtedly Doc was scrolling through Facebook and he saw one of his friends post a meme of like some enlightened person with like a shungite rock over their head talking about how shungite blocks 5G. So then he went ahead and bought a ton of fucking shungite and stacked pyramids of it in his house to keep Wi-Fi out. It's pretty sad stuff, but a lot of people turn to pseudoscience on the internet these days, unfortunately. So people are saying this is why Twitch banned him for preaching about this kind of very dangerous misinformation. I mean, in shit, you'd think for a doctor he'd love science, but it seems like he hates it, unfortunately. So they think that Twitch maybe felt a moral obligation to protect young viewers because the majority of his viewers were on the younger side, so maybe a kid's watching him, he has asthma. Dr. Disrespect's over here shitting about how, you know, 5G can make it harder for people to breathe, so this kid with asthma hears that. They go out and buy shungite rocks and start sticking them up their asshole to block away the Wi-Fi. Next thing you know, they die because of it because they stop using their asthma inhaler and they just rely on shungite that they heard about from Dr. Disrespect. And really, I think it's a big reach. I don't think this would be why Twitch would ban him. Yeah, it absolutely sucks when someone with a huge following like that starts talking about fucking shungite and how spiritual rocks that are charged with Earth's magnetic chakra can protect you from viruses and stuff. That always sucks because you're feeding people misinformation on purpose. Maybe he was even profiting from it, there's no telling, but it does suck. But it wouldn't be to this level where Twitch just fucking permabans him and doesn't release anything. And if the people with these sources do actually know what's going on, I feel like they'd be more than comfortable just saying, hey look, they banned him because he loves shungite so much in pseudoscience. The way people are talking about this that claim to know what's actually going on, they make it sound like Doc was revealed to be the actual Zodiac killer. They're making this seem like a huge deal where they themselves are saying, look, we can't reveal it because if we did, we'd get in legal trouble ourselves. It's that serious. And I don't think pseudoscience shungite rocks is to that level of severity where they themselves would get in trouble talking about it. And now just given the timing of everything here coming out this week with all of this made everyone believe that it had to be something with sexual assault, because for those that don't know, over the last week or so, it's been revealed the huge problem in the gaming industry where a lot of women were being sexually assaulted by members of the gaming industry, whether it be streamers or people working on games. There's been a lot of victims coming forward with their stories and outing people as terrible fucking people. And with Dr. Disrespect getting banned like this, people immediately jumped on the idea that it must be sexual assault. Obviously, this can't be proven or disproven since no one has come forward with a sexual assault case against Doc in the last week during all of this. So if it is sexual assault, it's being handled privately between Twitch, Dr. Disrespect, and the authorities. And there's just no way for anyone to know right now besides just speculating. It's been an absolutely wild ride trying to figure out exactly what's going on with Dr. Disrespect's ban. There really is nothing from like any of the VODs or anything that is like ban worthy or anything like that. So it leads most people to believe it has to be something off platform. Either way, it's weird, it's wild, it's wacky, and it's really been capturing my attention as well as most other people's attention. It's just been this like crazy storyline to follow with all kinds of twists and turns, and that's about it. So yeah. I'm assuming most of you have already heard the news by now, perhaps some of you even held your own funerals, but a mere few hours ago we lost something very dear to internet culture. We lost the PogChamp emote. Even if you don't exactly know what it is, where it came from, the genesis of Pog, and the cultural impact, you've definitely heard Pog tossed around before because it's become such a staple on the internet. It's like the peanut butter and jelly of responses online. Whenever someone posts anything, you're going to see someone say Pog or post this emote. And in a nutshell, this is just an emote that originated on Twitch, and it just became a huge mainstay on the platform. But it was really kind of the progenitor of Twitch chat's own little language, their emote culture, kind of like the Tower of Babylon back in the Bible. And of course, other popular emotes came out, but nothing ever quite reached the level PogChamp did. Hey, this is an emote that helped people get laid. You would go up to women at your college campus and say that they look very pog today, and it was almost impossible for their panties not to get sodden. You were definitely going to be slamming some fucking ham and mashing pissers if you were just freely tossing around PogChamp, even in the real world. Now, of course, with great power came great responsibility, and there was definitely some misuse of that power, with people pogging at the wrong times, premature pogging, and we saw the death of some people's ability to communicate socially, because they got completely brainwashed and indoctrinated by the PogChamp, and it's all they knew how to say anymore. So yes, there were definitely some social lives claimed in the wake of its destruction, but PogChamp as a whole was just a very positive thing where people could spam it in the chat or even just say it online just to have like a little goofy inside thing and just a little bit of fun, and everyone always really knew that it was harmless until yesterday when people realized the man behind the PogChamp is a giant prolapsed rectum. As you probably noticed, if you have a keen eye and a talent for astute observations, you would have noticed that the PogChamp emote is a face. A man's face, and that man with that face happens to be an insufferable asshole, and I don't want to say who he is because I don't want to accidentally signal boost a lot of the dangerous filth that he's puking out online, but in a nutshell, he was going on about anti-vax shit, coronavirus being fake, calling for violence, and some shit like that. And yesterday, Twitch made the decision to just remove the PogChamp emote from the platform to disassociate with that kind of garbage. So it's the end of an era, and I wanted to send off PogChamp the only way I knew how. With the wonderful stench of Gwyneth Paltrow's vaginas. Or, she has one vagina, but this is in different conditions. This is the orgasming vagina, and this is base set first edition vagina, PSA 10 default setting vagina. And I just thought I'd have this little funeral service just to remember the joy that PogChamp brought us all during its long run on Twitch, and just the impact it had on all of us as human beings. Our species really helped to evolve thanks to PogChamp, and, well, I just thought it was appropriate we at least give it a proper send-off. Now, I do understand what Twitch is trying to do by getting rid of it. I get why they're doing it, but I have to say, I think it's still kind of a silly decision. I think 98% of people don't know who the fuck the face of PogChamp was, so I don't think anyone... Wow, these are really strong today. Holy fuck. But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like the vast majority of people online had no idea who the man was behind that face, so I don't think anyone would see PogChamp and then all of a sudden think of, like, anti-vax. Jesus fucking Christ! Why are these so strong? Did Gwyneth Paltrow come in here and take a shit in this wax? I've had these candles for over a year now, and they have never smelt this rancid and rank. It's like a burglar broke in when I was asleep and just rubbed tuna over my candles. Probably stole the batteries out of my fucking TV remote too or something. Absolutely evil, this smell right now. They used to just smell like really lazy candles, like not good or anything, but not like this. I guess I'm finally like burning into the nucleus where like the actual flavor center is, like the actual command center of Gwyneth Paltrow's vaginal stench. And man, that is some yucky smelling shit actually. Good lord. It smells like if 3 wet socks were dipped in like a used toilet at a gas station and then left out to dry. And then people went by and started spitting on it all day. It's pretty fucking bad today. I didn't expect that. Like I was saying, no, I don't think anyone would associate PogChamp with the actual man behind PogChamp. I think it was kind of unnecessary. Again, I understand why they wanted to... Jesus. But yeah, I don't think the PogChamp emote was ever really at risk of becoming like this symbol of, you know, these garbage fucking beliefs that the guy behind it has. I don't think that was ever the case. I feel like only a small portion of the community even knew who the guy was behind the emote. So I don't really think it was necessary to remove the emote, but I do understand why they chose to. Since it is like an official Twitch emote, they just didn't want anyone to think that they were supporting that guy in particular as opposed to what Pog means. And I totally do get that. And I saw some people whining about censorship, and all of you know I fucking hate censorship and I'm never on the side of censorship. But this really isn't censorship, and I think you're reaching if you think it is. It'd be like if I made a Jared Fogle hype emote before it became known that he's a super pedophile with like 15 billion gigabytes of child porn. I made a Jared Fogle emote, and then all of that comes out, a huge pedophile. This is the biggest pedophile of all time. It's like, oh fuck. Well, I don't really want people to be using Jared Fogle's face in my chat anymore to get excited. I'm just gonna take it out. You know, it's not much deeper than that. It's not like Twitch is going around hitting all the other Pog variations, like the Pog U's and shit like that, and whatever comes next will probably still be called Pog, but it's an official emote from a giant fucking douchebag that they just don't really want there anymore. So I do understand that. I don't really think it's censorship. I do think it's unnecessary because, like I said, I don't think anyone associated that emote with that person. Now, in my Jared Fogle example, if I had a Jared Fogle hype emote, people would probably raise an eyebrow and probably be like, hey, what the fuck is this? But for PogChamp, I don't think anyone had that. I don't think anyone was, like, concerned about what it meant because it becomes such, like a fucking, you know, public domain thing with this PogChamp. No one really knew its origins or anything. Only some people did, so I don't think anyone was like, hey, why are they using PogChamp? Don't they know that guy's an anti-vax fucking loser? So yeah, I think it may have been a bit heavy-handed, but I understand where their head was here, and the community doesn't seem like super surprised or upset about it because there's gonna be other Pogs. You know, it doesn't have to be that guy's face. It doesn't need to be him. So it's an easily replaceable one. It's just one that's been such a staple for a long time that it is sad to see it go. I'm not a huge, like, Twitch memer or emote, you know, enthusiast kind of thing, but even I was sad to hear they removed PogChamp. So it is a bit of a shame, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and give a proper send-off to PogChamp. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, there's a couple of unwritten rules when it comes to cruising the cyberspace. The first is always have an ad blocker installed. Hey, Kata. She heard the word ad blocker and she was coming in here to let you all know how important it is. I don't know what kind of monster could actually enjoy the modern internet without an ad block. It's just a miserable experience, a giant headache. But the second unwritten rule that not as many people talk about is never go on Twitch without being logged in. It's scary. Twitch has this tendency to recommend the most odd streams to you. Like streams that'll have like 3 or 4 viewers. Whenever I'm not logged in, I get recommended the weirdest channels I've ever seen. It's kind of like that whole trend back on YouTube, don't FaceTime Freddy Fazbear at 3 AM, he came to visit. That's like Twitch when you're not logged in. Except you're always visited by one streamer in particular. Her name is Taylor, and you may have heard of her before because a couple times over the last year people have talked about what she does there because it's very weird. And anytime I make the mistake of being on Twitch without being logged in, hers is the first recommended channel for some reason. Every time without fail, no matter like what computer I'm on, for some reason Twitch is really fixated on recommending her channel, and it's not just to me. This is how so many people found her channel and started talking about it. So when I saw her name pop up, I recognized it and I got curious. This was like 3 months ago now. So 3 months ago, I clicked on her stream to see what the controversy was, like what does she do that makes people so upset? And what I found is pretty shocking.
Though, All right, so we're going. Because they're not ready. Some people are ready, some people are not ready. All right, so let's get this ball rocking and rolling. All right, so let's go, guys. Let's go. You're not ready. You better be ready, guys. You better be ready. We have to be ready. I thought we were ready. I think it's time. It is time. It is more than past the time. Guys, literally it is past the time. We have to go. We have to do this.
She is a hot tub streamer. However, she is a very different kind of hot tub streamer, like the next evolution, like the final form, raid boss of hot tub streaming. It's actually more like an abstract idea of a hot tub streamer. It's very avant-garde. So she'll stream for like 4 or 5 hours, but she never actually shows herself. You only ever see her arm. She stands off to the side and for 4 hours will hype up the chat like, hey, it's time, all right, enough stalling, I know I was a little long in the setup today, but now it's time to get in the hot tub, so spam 1 if you're ready to see me get into the hot tub and do some squats, spam 1. And it's nothing but stalling endlessly. I guess the idea is to prolong blue balls from the horny chatters that just want to jerk off to the hot tub streamer, and she'll milk them for 4 hours, up to 6 hours. I think her world record so far, her personal best, is 6 hours of stalling, and then I think she usually comes on at the very end for about like 10 minutes or so before wrapping. It is baffling. Now, I'm not just trying to start a witch hunt here, and I don't want anyone to harass her. I just wanted to showcase this because I found it so odd and interesting.
Rolling. Alright, so type 1 if you guys are ready to move. Alright, we're gonna hit it and quit it. There are no ads. I mean, there was ads, guys. I can see it on my desktop. Alright, so we want more ads. No more ads. You just have to hit it, guys. We just have to hit it. We just have to hit it. It is time to hit it and quit it, guys. It is time to hit it and quit it. So, it is time. Remember, Lane Calm 2023 is here. What a way.
This is footage I captured from right now. So she starts usually around like 9 a.m. EST and she'll go till like 2 p.m. without ever showing herself, apparently. It is incredible. I have a couple conspiracy theories I'll share in a moment, but you can see she's already been doing this for over 3.5 hours. It's such an interesting hustle that I don't fully understand. So my conspiracy theory is that it was pre-recorded. I think she does do some streams that have to be pre-recorded because there's just no way. And the minimal interaction with chat, as well as like some subs that she doesn't thank, makes me really feel like there is an element of pre-recorded video to this, which I'm not positive on. That's of course me just putting on the tinfoil hat and speculating. I just can't fully wrap my tiny little reptile brain around the concept of this, because she's making significantly less money from the people in chat than she would if she was just a normal hot tub streamer. This like baiting for 4 to 6 hours doesn't work out super well because people are constantly filtering in and out and getting upset at her. And there's not a whole lot of sub activity from it either. So it feels like it's just counterintuitive. It's almost like it's supposed to be a parody of hot tub streams, but it's lacking the self-awareness, and she, at the end of the day, is the one that's by far the most bored by standing there for 4 hours or so, saying the same things over and over again like an NPC with only a few dialogue choices. She's clearly always trying to fill as much time as possible, and that ends with her just repeating herself constantly. Now, she does have mods, which I was very curious about because are the mods in on it? Do they know? And what I was learning from watching this stream a bit today is that the mods do seem pretty self-aware with what's going on. So when she's like hyping everyone up like it's all getting, you know, it's all coming, everyone spam 1 and I'm about to fucking go hard, we're gonna get hog wild in here, we're jumping in this fucking hot tub, and I'm gonna be fucking squirting water out of my butthole, it's gonna get wild. The mods will play into it, but then the mods will like ask her a question to derail it. And then she'll spend like 15 minutes on that derailed question, like, oh, okay, enough talking about my birthday or whatever. Back to getting into this because it's time to start, we're already late, time to start. So it feels like the mods as well as Taylor know what the play is here.
We got this, guys. All right, so we're gonna let it roar from the mountaintops. It is time to hit it and quit it. Type 1 in chat if you guys are ready to rumble. Type 1 in chat if you're ready to rumble. Type 1.
She just left for quite some time right here, which isn't uncommon. This is a very normal occurrence. This isn't like some kind of crazy phenomenon, like an anomaly that happened in the stream. She'll sometimes just get like way too bored, I guess, of like repeating herself. So she'll go out with a bang like it's the WWE. Like, alright, it's fucking go time. It's WrestleMania, brother. Type 1 in the chat if you're ready for the fucking stream. and then you'll hear her close the door behind herself, and then it's just silence for like 10 minutes, and then she'll come back and be like, alright, sorry guys, I had to get some water. It reminds me of that old shit on 4chan with Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, where it just never ends. Or that scene in The Fairly Odd Parents when Timmy Turner and his dad were on their way to a ride, but they're taking this long escalator, and Timmy says, when do we get to the ride? And the dad says, this is the ride. That's like her whole stream. And I guess it must work to some degree. Like, she is popular. I mean, 5,000 viewer average is very, very good. But I don't know if those are like actual viewers or people that just come in here for the spectacle of it and then leave. Because that feels like what it is. It's just people constantly coming in and leaving. It's just a really odd situation. But yeah, they're still going. She's up to like 4 hours, 15 minutes right now. So I'm just going to keep doing this video until she ends the stream, because I have to know how long she goes this time. Maybe I'm about to bear witness to her longest stall yet.
Alright, let it ring from the mountaintops. Yes, Nux, you know the drill. Let it ring from the mountaintops. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Let's get it rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's still going. Pretty much the same as the first 4 hours, but I feel like we're entering into that final act here. One other thing I'd like to mention is she doesn't save her VODs, because I imagine she doesn't want people to go to the VODs and realize that this isn't unusual. This is the whole stream of just like hyping people up to get started without ever getting started. Which I suppose is smart, because she doesn't want to let people in on what's like actually happening here.
How many squats are about to go down? It's going down in the DM. Just joking, just joking. Alright, so everybody vote in chat, vote in chat, vote in chat. I'm only here for the chat, so.
We're now over the 4.5 hour mark, so we're reaching some pretty big milestones here. Now, she demonstrated one other thing she does a lot during her streams, which is running polls and stuff, and she'll do 10 minutes on the poll in order to fill an easy 10 minutes. So this one is how many squats should she do, and it's a 10-minute poll, which allows her to easily fill up another 10 minutes here.
Alright, we got this. Alright, so we're rocking and rolling. Let's keep it rocking and rolling. Alright, so without further ado, everybody, without further ado, chat, without further ado.
We're approaching 5 hours here, and it's still rockin' and rollin' time. I cannot imagine how she actually gets through a whole stream doing this, because that just seems like true anguish. Repeating the same lines over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't stop. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't let up at all. Now, a lot of people call her a scammer for this, and I guess like by the technical definition she is, but she's scamming you out of your time and attention, I guess, which could be worse than scamming you out of your money, I suppose. She doesn't make nearly as many subs as all of the other hot tub streamers do, at least not by the numbers that I can see. So I don't even really understand what the motivation is to continue doing these like countdown streams as opposed to just doing like a hot tub stream at this point. Because she used to do like body painting and stuff, but now it's mainly this, and she seemed to have found a lot more success with the body painting stuff, so I don't know what really drove her to doing these kind of streams.
And 0.0 0.009. Guys,
we've made it past the 5 hour mark now. She did a countdown, hitting 0 and then getting into the deep decimal places. It's getting huge. The excitement is really building.
Imagine standing my whole life. I mean, I imagine. I don't know what to say. All right, so we are hopping on.
We're over 5.5 hours now. I've just been grinding Slayer and RuneScape with this in the background, and it is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's painful, but she's making a push for the world record here. I think it's gonna go to like 6 hours, 6.5 hours till she hops on stream for a couple minutes before ending. So I should be here for the world record run she's making right now.
So, howdy. Welcome to Jurassic Park, guys. So we are gonna get this ball.
5 hours and 55 minutes for her to make her first appearance here. That's wild. We just missed the world record here. She didn't quite break the 6-hour mark. But you want to know what's even wilder? Is she only stayed on stream for about like 6 or 7 minutes and then she left. And now it's just been this iPad here for like the last, I don't know, probably 8 or so minutes. Time is moving at such a weird pace right now with this fucking stream here. It's like purgatory. But yeah, now it's just an iPad and some music. I don't feel like sticking around super long to find out if this is the end of the stream. I have a sneaking suspicion it is. It just ends on the iPad and this music and she never comes back. This is just how she wraps it up. Just hopped in there for sub 10 minutes and said, alright, that's enough. Goodbye. What a fucking wild, weird stream channel. This is what she does daily, pretty much. Anytime I'm not logged in, her channel is recommended, and it's always this. I've just never bothered sticking around for more than like 2 seconds just to see if it's different. But today I wanted to see it till the very end, and it looks like I have. I'm not going to stay for another fucking hour of just watching this iPad here. Maybe my assumption is wrong and she does come back and do her squats that she said she'd do, or do anything that she says the stream is going to consist of. Maybe she comes back and fucking body paints. Who knows? I don't really want to stick around and find out. It's already been 6 goddamn hours. I've grinded so much in RuneScape, I want a break. So yeah, that's about it. See ya. Last night I got sent a clip that made me extremely angry. It's a clip of a streamer playing Madden 21 with his child on his lap, and then he did poorly in the game, like he missed a first down catch or something, and he just went full fucking primal caveman and smashed his controller on the desk, which made his kid start crying and made him even angrier. So then he throws his kid on the chair and then yells at the kid because he's doing shitty in the game. Right away, him playing Madden 21 tells me he already makes bad decisions, but to broadcast your child abuse on Twitch is a really fucking wild one to do. I'll play the clip for you now, but I just want to give a fair warning. I think it's pretty hard to watch, so just keep that in mind, but I think it's important to see how big of a piece of shit this guy is.
God damn it! Fucking $300 fucking controller! Yo, can I fucking press pause? Just sit right here. Stop. I gotta go, yo. I'm about to fucking lose it, yo. Shut the fuck up!
No, your computer isn't lagging, nor is the video itself. This pathetic worm just streams using a dial-up connection that he's probably stealing, so the frame rate's dog shit, and he has a $300 controller apparently, but a 30-cent internet connection and webcam. The webcam looks like you're trying to watch censored hentai. It's so fucking pixelated. But hey, that's just his style, baby. Child abuse in 360p. Really sad shit all around. Like I said, I think it's pretty hard to watch. Now, he didn't, like, throw the child, like, he didn't go in there and, like, slam dunk the kid into the chair or anything, or spike it like a football in Madden. But to aggressively throw the child down and then scream in his face is nothing shy of horrible parenting and genuine child abuse, I think. I think most people would agree with that, except for a couple of really battle-hardened Twitter users with their furry porn avatars and anime profile pics saying that it's not child abuse and they went through similar things and loved their parents and it made them stronger, and that you're just a bunch of pussies these days if you can't take your parents yelling at you in your face because they got very sad and salty at a fucking sports video game. I think it's definitely child abuse. 100% in my opinion. Like, I think there's really no argument there. I feel extremely sorry for the child. The father is a worthless hemorrhoid going into this full fucking meltdown mode and tantrum over just doing poorly in a sports video game is just the highest level of pitiful I could imagine. I don't remember exactly what his wording was, but in his little Twitch slogan, the little sentence or paragraph under the stream to let you know about the streamer, he said something like, "Being a loving father and supreme turbo gaming ultimate gamer warrior is my mission in life." I'd definitely say that is a complete mission failure. I don't know what it is about sports games. There must be some kind of curse on the genre. It just brings out the demon in people. It's fucking pathetic shit though. The good news is he's been banned from Twitch and he's like deleted all his social media and shit. I don't know if this is true, but apparently his wife actually kicked him out because of this, so that's good that she's taking action to protect the child from him. Because if he's gonna melt down like this over something as trivial as a Madden game against the fucking computer, he's not even playing a real person, he's playing the fucking AI and going into this like nuclear explosion meltdown of anger. He's not safe to be around. Again, I don't know if that's true or just some kind of Twitter fan fiction, but what is true is fucking sports gamers are a different kind of salty in their game. It reminds me of the plot of Kingsman when Valentine put the chips in the phones that make people mindlessly kill each other to get the world's population down. I feel like Valentine could have done the same thing by just making everyone play Madden. They would have been at each other's throats and the world would have been in chaos. But yeah, anyway, this clip just made me really upset and I wanted to just kind of talk about it a little bit and let people know that it's not okay. I don't know why there's like kind of a decently sized portion of people on Twitter arguing that what he did is perfectly justified and the kid may have had it coming because the kid impeded his ability to play the game properly. Like, it's crazy. Twitter is the most wild fucking place I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. There are other people arguing like, you can't say he's a bad father, you're only seeing a 40-second clip. He could be one of the world's best fathers who just had a slip-up. You stupid shit stain. This isn't a slip-up. A slip-up was when you accidentally say damn or shit around a child. Not, oh, my controller died. Time to go scream in the face of a baby. That's not a fucking slip-up. It makes you a psychopath and a terrible father. You can absolutely say, this man is a horrible father based on this clip and this clip alone. This is abuse. It's not just a mistake. He is abusive. And he broadcast it. I can absolutely say that with a high degree of confidence because it is right fucking there. I don't know why people are victim blaming an actual baby. It's so Twitter-like. I mean, it's so in line with Twitter, it's impressive. No matter how dumb the fucking take you can think of is, you will find it on Twitter and find people that wholeheartedly believe it. Twitter is just, it's crazy. What a crazy cesspool of degenerate scum. Fucking nuts. A mistake! Oh no, don't get mad at this father, he just made a mistake in a heated gamer moment. So fucking stupid. What's next? Gonna start excusing people for beating their wives? Ah, he lost his Madden game. It only makes sense that he went and put his hands on his wife. It's Twitter, just there's no end to how low they'll stoop with the dumbest fucking takes imaginable. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because it was really, really frustrating. It made me extremely mad to see. And I do hope the story with the wife kicking him out of the house is true. And really happy to see the quick action Twitch took in banning him, so that's also very good. And yeah, really, that's about it. See ya. The title of the video isn't clickbait, it isn't sarcasm, it's not a practical joke or some kind of prank. It is the God-honest truth. With my hand on a stack of Bibles, I swear to you before the Lord and anime that I am being genuine when I say Twitch actually just made an incredible decision. We are witnessing history. I feel like some of the people that took the first manned airplane flight, where you know what you have just experienced is a game changer, is super special, and you are part of history. That's how I feel right now with this. A very rare instance where Twitch does something that I can't help but applaud and really appreciate.
So last year we updated our simulcasting policy to allow simulcasting on mobile services such as TikTok and Instagram. On my recent trip, a number of streamers talked about how they are leveraging these services to grow their Twitch community. So today we're taking this a step further and announcing that we are allowing simulcasting on any live streaming service.
Daniel Clancy, you beautiful son of a gun. You put a smile on my face and made me wet. Now, for those that don't know why this is such a big deal, I'll dive into it. But that right there is the new CEO of Twitch. He took over earlier this year. He replaced the previous CEO, who was extraordinarily hands-off on the platform. Many of you probably didn't even know Twitch had a CEO because this guy was more secretive than the elusive man. Like, this fucking guy seemed to be ashamed to be the CEO of the platform. His name was Emmett Shear, or as I like to call him, Emmett, have no fear, I'm barely here, Shear. If you went to any of his socials over the long time that he was the CEO of Twitch, you would have no idea what his position was, because he didn't talk about the platform, he didn't interact with it, he didn't stream on it, he didn't communicate with anyone on it. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know who XQC is, even to this day, or Kai Cenat for that matter. Like, he doesn't know anyone on the platform, no matter how big they are. He just really, he treated his position as CEO of Twitch the same way I treated boners back in high school, like random erections, just trying to like hide it the best you possibly can and hope nobody notices. So Emmett Shear, for a long time, was CEO in name only. I don't think he actually really did anything for the platform except try and fucking flush it down the shitter. And earlier this year, he stepped down and Dan Clancy, whom you just saw, stepped up. Now, when he first stepped up, I made the statement that he is an extremely nice guy. I had actually met Dan before he became the CEO of the platform, and I had nothing but positive things to say about him, but I did say that I don't see any big changes coming under his leadership because I really don't believe that he had the capability to make big sweeping changes or improvements to the platform because there's just so much red tape and the inner workings of the company are more divided than my ass cheeks. Like, everything is so separated into their own departments and no one really communicates with one another, so it leads to a lot of discrepancies and miscommunications, at least in my experience from talking to some of the employees and about how the sausage is made there at Twitch, you know, the behind the scenes information and all of that. And to further explain, I'll go ahead and use my Twitch contract as an example. I actually talked to Dan directly about that, and he was super supportive of me canceling my contracts, that way I could explore streaming on YouTube. He was super enthusiastic about it, he understood, and he said he had his blessing, but it wasn't up to him entirely. It still had to go through all of the other teams and all the other filters, and that took an additional like 3 or 4 months, I think. I'm getting a little foggy on exactly the timeline now since it's been a while. But the fact that Dan, being the CEO of Twitch, still had to go through 3 or 4 months for something as simple as canceling my contract, which was already kind of getting towards the end of its duration anyway, just led me to be more convinced that even if Dan came in with the best of intentions, which I really do think he did, that he wouldn't be able to make the changes that he'd want to see in the platform. But boy howdy, I've never been happier to be proven wrong. Eating my own asshole has never tasted so good. It is great to see Dan actually being able to have a positive influence on Twitch. This is absolutely a decision that Dan himself would pitch. From our conversation, I know that this is something he felt strongly about, that streamers shouldn't be tied down to Twitch if they don't want to be. So it seems like he was able to push this forward and make it come to fruition and make it a reality, which is absolutely incredible. And for those that don't know, Dan loves Twitch. Like, he lives and breathes the platform. He actively streams on there himself, just doing like some music. Like, he's like actually extremely talented, so he does some kind of fire streams, and he is very much a user of the product, enthusiastic about it. There's a Twitch, well, not a Twitch clip, there is a clip on Kick where one of the Kick streamers saw Dan just roaming around, and they said, "Oh, sorry, I'm live on Kick right now." And Dan goes, "You know what? That's your choice," and then gives him a high five and just walks away with a big smile on his face. He just seems to love streaming, and he wants Twitch to get back to its former glory of being the best place to do it, and give everyone the freedom to stream how they want and where they want. And I couldn't be more ecstatic about that. So let's go over why this simulcasting change is so massive, because it almost sounds too good to be true. For those that don't know what simulcasting is, it's the ability for you to start up a stream on multiple platforms at the same time. And Twitch has always hated that. They hated simul streaming more than Timmy Turner's dad hated the Dinkelbergs. So they outlawed it. They made it against their terms. You couldn't simul stream. If you were doing a Twitch stream, it needed to be content exclusive to Twitch. You couldn't just have that stream being pumped out to a lot of other places, except for mobile platforms like Dan mentioned. They did eventually allow for that, where you could simul stream your Twitch stream to mobile platforms, but you couldn't do that otherwise. Unless, of course, you were like a completely unaffiliated account. And even then, it's not like they really encouraged it. It was still very frowned upon. It was more forbidden than human transmutation and Full Metal Alchemist. Until today. This was like one of the main things I thought Twitch would never, ever even consider backing off on. I thought Twitch would always stick to their guns on simul streaming being against their rules. Because if you really stop to think about it, why would they? Twitch is still the #1 streaming platform. And now if streamers have the flexibility to stream their Twitch broadcast to other platforms at the same time, why wouldn't they? There isn't a single reason why anyone on Twitch wouldn't also just stream to YouTube. It's the same content, you just put it to 2 different places, so it just maximizes your reach and viewership, and it's just an overall net positive to the streamer, but doesn't really do a whole lot to help out Twitch that much. Unless, of course, you're mainly interacting with your Twitch audience, and like your YouTube streaming audience is seeing that, oh, the Twitch chat seems a lot more hype than the YouTube chat. I'll start going over there. Then maybe you do get some new users that aren't already endemic to Twitch. I think there's definitely a real case to be made there in that argument, and perhaps it'll be extremely effective. Like maybe if you're broadcasting your Twitch stream to YouTube, and your YouTube audience is now seeing your stream for the first time and wants to get more involved, they'll go to Twitch because the interaction on Twitch is just genuinely better than YouTube, which is something I've talked about quite a bit at length now. So I do think there probably is a case to be made that this is a strong move for Twitch in order to continue to grow and stay on top. But regardless, it is by far the best move for streamers. And it's not like this comes with any like fine print or anything. If you go to the page that makes the announcement that really breaks down what you can and cannot do, they are very lenient. The only thing that they ask you not to do is try and drive your Twitch audience to other streaming platforms while you're simul streaming. So let's say you're streaming Twitch and YouTube. Instead of like saying, hey, Twitch audience, go to YouTube. You're going to like it better over there. You know, we've got the hottest babes in the YouTube chat over there. So get on out of Twitch and go to YouTube. They don't want you doing that. They also don't want you like combining the chats into one for the stream because they want it to feel like if it's on Twitch, it is a Twitch production, even though it's other places. It is still like the Twitch audience is getting the most love, so that way you're still celebrating with the Twitch community, which I think are both very understandable positions to have here for like the policy. There's really not much else. Everything else is kind of sunshine and rainbows from what I can tell. So obviously I'm going to start simul streaming YouTube and Twitch. I can finally shake the cobwebs off of my old Twitch channel here, which has just been collecting dust. It was like that scene out of Toy Story where Andy says, I don't want to play with you anymore, and then drops him. That's what I did with Twitch. And I've been loving my time on YouTube, but now there's absolutely no reason not to also stream on Twitch. I get the best of both worlds here. It's fantastic. I started streaming on Twitch. I still loved Twitch, but I switched to YouTube because I wasn't confident in the direction Twitch was going at the time. But now I can do both. It feels great. Like, this is such a huge W move. It cannot be understated just how big of a deal this decision is from Twitch. And man, absolute hats off to Dan Clancy on this one. Fuck yes. So definitely wanted to talk about this. I'll be doing my first simul stream tonight. I don't know what time, probably like 10 p.m. EST, somewhere in that general ballpark. So make sure to tune in if you want to see what this new experience is going to look like. I'm really excited, and this really gives me a lot of hope in Twitch actually, you know, starting to steer the ship in the right direction again. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah, let's just call it like it is. We'll be honest with each other, a little heart to heart. No reason to pull any punches. There's a lot of weirdos in Twitch chat. I might even be talking about you specifically. Maybe you're one of the goofballs I'm referring to. And unfortunately today, one of these weirdos crossed a line and became a criminal. A streamer by the name of Just Foxy had her car lit on fire by an arsonist who was a stalker of hers from Twitch chat. This deranged imbecile drove 700 miles to this streamer's house to try and meet her, I suppose, and then eventually set her car on fire. Brother, I wouldn't drive 700 miles to drink from the fountain of youth. This is crazy shit. This is unhinged behavior, obviously. I believe this is a case of a parasocial, obsessed fan. At least that's the impression I get from the story, because this kind of thing has unfortunately happened before in the past. It's horrifying.
I watched him put a brick on my car, on the hood, and some pot, and he lit something sticking out of it and walked away casually, like he didn't do anything. The next clip after that was the front end of my car engulfed in flames. The firefighters came very quickly, and I'm very thankful for that, because the fire spread to the fence and burnt the side of my house as well, which my mom and animals were inside of.
Now, Just Foxy does have security cameras around her house, and she was able to capture the entire incident. So this was a big say cheese moment, because she caught this guy in 4K for the Criminal Cringe compilation, and according to her, he was also arrested. But she hasn't posted anything about the individual or the arrest yet, because clearly it's an ongoing and very sensitive case. But she did post the CCTV footage from the event, so I'll go ahead and show you the raw footage of it. Goober alert, goober alert. He tries to put on like a disguise here, so he's got a mask and a hat pulled down real low, but it's pretty inefficient because it still looks like he's got some patchy ass mutton chops there. So I'm pretty excited to see his mugshot to see what he looks like, though I can already wager a guess that it's not pleasant. So this little worm sets up the arson cupcake and lights the birthday candle and waddles away, and it engulfs the car in flames. This does not appear to be his first rodeo with arson. He was very casual about the whole thing. It also appears that this was premeditated. He traveled 700 miles with this as his primary goal, to light her shit on fire. Because this doesn't appear to be a contraption that he just MacGyvered together with like fucking sticks, glue, and spit. This appears like he traveled with all the materials he'd need to commit arson, though I'm not an expert, I'm just speculating. Obviously this whole thing is pretty traumatic, not only for just Foxy, but her family. I mean, like she mentioned, the flames did spread to the house, and the mom and animals were in the house at the time that all of this went down. So just a really scary situation overall.
I just never thought that when I started streaming back in 2015 that something like this would ever happen to me.
It is super sad. It is something that most people aren't going to think about when they start streaming, because I imagine most people, myself included, go into a stream assuming that everyone that's watching them is just there to be entertained and nothing further. Everyone's, you know, mentally stable. There's not going to be any kind of fishy business or anything weird afoot. But unfortunately, it's just becoming more and more common for viewers to form this parasocial relationship with the content and the creators that they enjoy watching. And I think that plays a large part into a situation like this, where that parasocial relationship becomes an obsession. And then it becomes a stalker. And then it becomes this. And it's fucking scary. By no means is it just Foxy's fault. Unfortunately, this has happened a couple of times in the past. Like Amaranth, a little while back, had a stalker in a similar situation where the stalker drove fucking, you know, tons of miles to her house and lit her trash on fire to try and burn down her house. Literally just like fucking cremate the place she lives. Somehow that would work in his favor so they could live happily ever after or some shit. It's deranged. It's scary. Amaranth also had another stalker that sold all of his worldly possessions on the other side of the world, literally gave away all of his corporeal belongings, so that way he could move closer to Amaranth so he could stalk her more efficiently. It's fucking scary. There are people like that, unfortunately, on Twitch, and I feel like a lot of people outside of the streaming space don't really understand that. So I want to tackle a couple of conspiracies that have sprouted up from this whole situation, because somehow Twitter brain rot found a new way of shocking me with the stupidity. There were a lot of people claiming that this is all baloney. This is a bunch of nonsense mumbo jumbo. She's faking everything. There were people just outright denying that the CCTV footage was even real. They were literally covering their eyes and plugging their ears, like acting as though the CCTV footage doesn't exist of the guy literally burning her car down. So I don't even know where to start. You are too far gone if you think that this is somehow CGI or deepfaked. That's ridiculous. And then the next big conspiracy theory is that it's all an insurance scam from Just Foxy, which is a crazy take. Because for the insurance scam to have worked here, she would have shot herself in the foot by filming it, because now there is a person there. There is a person in the footage, and that person has been arrested, according to Just Foxy. And if this was all an insurance scam, that guy would squeal. He would absolutely be like, she paid me to do it, this is all just an insurance scam. Like, everything would crumble. It would be a terrible insurance scam idea to film your own insurance scam, which is why insurance scammers usually don't want the video evidence. Like, that's usually what unwinds and untangles a scam like that. So that would be a crazy plot twist if somehow this was all an insurance scam, because there would be so many things wrong with that theory. And then the other thing I keep seeing from people, which absolutely shows me the majority of the internet is actually 9 years old now, is them saying like, why does she care? She's got insurance. She'll just get the car right back, or, you know, things like that. What do you mean? Does insurance also cover the trauma of having a complete stranger go and set your shit on fire in the middle of the night and nearly kill your mom and dog as well? Like, what are you talking about? Even if insurance does cover the cost of the car, that doesn't take away the entire situation. That doesn't just erase the memories like a neuralizer from Men in Black. Like, that doesn't solve the situation. What the fuck? Like, you'd probably cry if somebody, like, came over and took a fucking Cheeto out of your bag of Cheetos that you're eating right now. Like, it doesn't make any sense to try and write off this whole situation. Like, who cares? Insurance is there for a reason. It's so fucking stupid. People are so desperate for everything to be an argument, or so desperate to feel special and intelligent, like I'm the only galaxy brain that was big enough to piece together the real puzzle behind the scenes. This is not a clear-cut case of arson like everyone seems to think. It goes much deeper than that. And then vomiting out the dumbest fucking ideas ever. It's just infuriating because on the video she posted about it, the comment section is an absolute mess. Pyrocynical made a video about this just recently, and he pointed out a lot of the comments, so I went to check, and there's even more now. Like, the video is heavily disliked with her just sharing her experience with this very awful event that happened to her. And there's so many people just saying she deserved it for being on Twitch, or it's all just a lie, it's ridiculous, you know, you won't fool me. It's so fucking dumb. There is no such thing as innocent until proven guilty here. I don't think she's guilty of some kind of conspiratorial giant insurance scam. That would be nuts. Like, all of it just is so ridiculous. I don't know how we got to this point where everyone wants to make everything a problem. Like, no, we can't agree that your car being set on fire and your house almost burning down is a bad thing. In fact, here's why it's a good thing and you deserved it. Like, what the fuck? Like, how terminally online and ill can you be to actually have that take? But yeah, horrible situation. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. This apparently happened like a week or so ago, and she just now released the information about it because she's been dealing with the aftermath of the situation. So I'm excited to see more details from the arrest because I really want to see the guy's mugshot. I'm very excited for that. And yeah, that's really about it. Terrible shit all around, and that's it. So yeah. What I'm about to share with you is classified information, highly sensitive, put on lockdown from the top-level government authorities, and yet I will break the magician's code and share the secret with you. I will reveal the truth that the highest-level puppet masters that control this corporeal dimension are trying to keep from you. I will display it full-on, full exposed, cock and balls out for you, because I believe in a strong sense of information sharing. And thus, I am bringing you this news. If fucking aliens were discovered today, that discovery would pale in comparison to the truth I'm about to reveal to you. It happens on twitch.tv. Not even my streaming platform, twitch.tv/moistcritical, although a lot of great shit happens there. On twitch.tv, there's a section for a game called Artifact. Only 90s gamers remember Artifact. It was a shitty attempt from Valve a couple years ago or a couple months ago. There's really no telling because no one remembers Artifact. But it was their attempt to make a really shitty card game. And it was a shitty card game that everyone got bored of really quickly. Now on Twitch, if you're unfamiliar with the platform, it breaks it up by games. So you'll have streamers streaming one game in the game section on Twitch, and they wouldn't be anywhere else because it's against the rules. Well, on Artifact, since no one was playing the game, they'd only have maybe 5 viewers on their best night, like a fucking Sweet 16 orgy in Artifact. They'd pull maybe 5 to 10 viewers or something like that. It was basically a dead spot on Twitch. What happened is evil mastermind geniuses, some fucking Teen Titans Galaxy Brain level mastermind evil people, hijacked Artifact on Twitch and now are using it to play all types of illegal shit, all types of fucking deranged shit. There was like 3 streams earlier today for Avengers Endgame, all just blatantly playing Avengers Endgame. There was John Wick streams. There's some really fucked up shit on there too, like they'll play actual terrorist shit, like real terrorism acts on the Artifact section. It's the goddamn Wild West of just degeneracy over there. There's been so many of those goddamn John Wick streams over the last 3 days. This is a rather new development. It's been like 3-4 days of Artifact being hijacked for illegally playing shit, and it's just been fucking nuts. Absolutely wild. Aquaman was on there earlier today as well. There's a SpongeBob on loop channel there. This shit is nuts. And Twitch is having a really hard time shutting it down because I feel like Twitch forgets that Artifact even exists, much like everyone else. So they'll see Artifact and be like, oh, what the fuck is that? Probably just some nerds playing Dungeons and Dragons or jerking off to hentai or something. Who gives a fuck? Leave it. I just took a quick screenshot just to show you what I mean on Twitch. So if you go to Artifact there, anything in there is not Artifact related at all. You'll immediately see that. I can't even show you the whole page because it was almost entirely porn when I took this picture. So this is all I can show you, but right there is Hardcore Henry is the second thing, and then some anime is the first thing. It's nuts. It's absolutely wild on Artifact. Shit's popping off, and it's an actual crime. And I feel like that could be bad for Twitch because they're hosting fucking in-game shit. Like I don't understand why they're not acting a little harder, but god damn it, is it just fucking silly what's happening with that whole section. But you fear for the worst. They might have to just remove Artifact from Twitch, which would devastate all 3 people that still play the game or watch it. Fucking Gabe Newell will lose sleep over it. He'll never sleep again, just tossing and turning, wondering how Artifact could have failed. It was supposed to kill Hearthstone, destroy Yu-Gi-Oh!, banish that shit to the Shadow Realm, and yet it's not doing it. You know, this is probably going to be the last game Valve ever develops because they don't do shit anymore, and damn it, they didn't go out with a bang. They're going out with a whimper and really shitty porn. It'd be a shame if they got rid of Artifact from Twitch, but I don't know how else they're going to combat it. And now at this point, I feel even if they did get rid of Artifact, all those people that are using that to just put illegal shit on there are just going to find a different game, probably Overwatch next or something, I really don't know. But they'll find somewhere else. So now they've got a big problem on their hands, and I feel like a lot of people didn't know that this was happening with Artifact, so now you do. It's a big fucking secret. Hopefully Twitch doesn't send the assassins to rappel through my window and try and silence me because I blew the lid on the Artifact conspiracy. This shit is nuts. This is like Hollow Earth. Fucking Flat Earth 2.0, but real because it's Artifact on Twitch and happening now. It's fucking nuts, man. But anyway, just thought this was worth bringing to your attention. I don't encourage watching John Wick or in-game on Twitch. I think you should support the movies, John Wick especially, because I fucking love that series. But anyway, that's it. See ya.